So I hope you can see it from behind, right? You can hear, right? Ellar kedistide tane? So how many of you are giving this year 2025? 2025, how many of you are giving, attempting? Remaining out of 2026, right? Okay, fine. So along, especially for 2025 people, a lot to learn. ನೀವು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಇವಾಗ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂದರೆ ಇವಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿದೆ. Just by reading the books, just by reading the knowledge, your prelims is very weak. The marks you are going to get, how much you are getting in your mocks. Some people start with 5 marks, 20 marks, 30 marks, 40 marks. So you people know whoever is giving 2025 and whoever is giving 2026, more or less, obviously, you will also come to this situation where just by reading the knowledge, just by reading the basic books, that will not be sufficient enough, right? So adu nimge inna gottilla. Ask these people who are giving you 2025, so they will better tell you how it feels after reading 5 times standard books, 5 times notes, still not able to attempt your prelims paper. So over these weekends, so we are anyway starting today, but every Saturday we'll try to do your sessions of your how to do your prelims. I'm free only on Saturday, so afternoon time 2 to 5 maybe we'll try to do how to attempt your prelims paper. So quickly I'll tell you what all will be there in the next 7 to 8 weeks, what all will be doing. After that, maybe if at all anything is remaining is there, ನೀವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲೇ add ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡಿ so that I can plan. So obviously in today's class we'll basically see what are the basics, do's and don'ts for both 2025 and both 2026. How do you prepare for your exam conditions, which is the most important part. Then I'll be talking about your the next 75 days strategy. Obviously I will not give any strategy for 2026 in today's class because it's not meant for that. So 75 days strategy for your prelims. Then I'll discuss majorly how to solve paper. So this is the agenda for your day 1. So day 1, this is the agenda. So 4 things. So in the next 2.5 hours, we'll try to finish all these particular parts. So obviously these two are going to consume a lot of time. So the last 1 hour will dedicate for you how to solve paper. So this is the agenda of the day for today, right? So when we meet next time, first and most important is how to analyze paper. So I have found around 21 variables by which you're going to basically understand how to do the analysis. ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ದೇ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಪೇಪರ್ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ, ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಏನ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಈಸಿ ಪೇಪರ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. By emotions obviously you cannot judge the paper, right? So we need data, we need statistics. So for that we need your 21 variables. Based on this, obviously it's not a single thing. We have to take an average of 5 to 6 exams ali. If we take the average of it, we are going to get your 21 variables ali data sigutte. Through the data we are going to majorly going to judge your performance, and every 5 papers you have to keep on increasing the your performance, right? So this is going to be an entire class is dedicated only for your how to do analysis. So what I want you to do, today is what, Wednesday, and the next class is coming Saturday, right? So Thursday, Friday you have 2 days you have. So who are giving your 2025 attempt, I want you to attempt majorly at least 2 to 3 GS papers and 2 of your CSAT papers, because CSAT do variables changes for your analysis. For your GS the variables changes. I'll mostly keep it English only because the online students are also there, and I think I have been told that people are watching from Hyderabad, Mysore, Trivandrum, Delhi and all. So I'll make it only English class, and obviously it will be most probably it will going on YouTube also. So for the general audience I'll make sure that it's on a common language, right? So I was telling you about, you have to come up with your GS paper at least 2 to 3, minimum is 2, 3 to 4 is a very good number because you will understand better. So 2 GS and 2 CSAT is a minimum when you come on Saturday, so that you have enough data, enough things with you to actually do your analysis, right? So after we learned who are doing analysis paper, we are going to do on your third day or in the third session, what are some of the tricks, patterns, and how do you use your common sense. So there are roughly around almost 30, let us say 30 tricks are there. Some of them are your patterns are there, and obviously how do you apply your common sense options. Not how do you attempt the paper. For both GS and CSAT, I'll be doing your tricks and patterns part. So we'll discuss. This might consume maybe around 5 hours or something, 2 sessions. So we'll do it as part 1 and part 2. So in that third Saturday, we'll be doing this. So roughly around 30 tricks are there. Not a trick exactly, it's a probability. At the end 100% guarantee irala, but again it's a probability over the years. Out of 100 questions, it has worked in 85-90 questions. So that is a very good number, right? And obviously I'll come to your prelims paper. So no question madbekadre, if you are a person who has properly prepared for the exam over 1 year or over the last 9 months, you will be able to attempt at least 50 to 20 questions if you are prepared well. If you are not prepared, just attended the class, not done any self preparation and all, obviously you will not be able to attempt even 5 questions properly. So if you are very well prepared, if we are solving, or if a person is very well prepared, giving 4 attempts or 5 attempts, that person, if he is writing maximum in the coming in the recent trend of the years, he will be able to attend roughly around 20 questions, maximum 25 questions, not more than that. So then whatever the majority of the questions, 75 to 80 questions, it's all about your common sense, your tricks, your patterns. For that we'll be doing your we'll be learning this and we'll be dedicating that time. So we'll take one of the tricks, we'll solve around 7 to 8 questions. That is the time maximum questions we'll be able to solve, otherwise time will not be sufficient enough, right? So try to touch maximum 10 maybe. So 10 into 30, around 300 questions we have to solve. So it will consume time, right? So even if I take 1 minute per question, you can only see 300 minutes. So 300 minutes roughly is equal to 5 hours. It will take time. So in the next session, what are we going to do is, we will learn your CSAT, because in the coming years, many people are facing difficulty. 2022 paper, roughly around 98,000 people cleared your GS2. That is your paper 2 of your CSAT. In 2023, roughly around 73,500 cleared your CSAT. So if lakhs of aspirants are preparing, 15-16 lakh, and out of which only some hardly 1,000, and out of 1,000, 15,000 are getting selected, you can imagine, right? So CSAT ka relevance is very much important. More than it has become, more than the GS, this has become a eliminator either for the freshers or for the veterans. This has become a major eliminator. So we'll be doing your CSAT. I will not teach you any chapters, all those things, right? So uski zarurat bhi nahi hai. What you want is little bit of common sense. You need to understand, basic here and there. For reasoning, you should know the methods rather than the formula. You should know the methods, right? So we majorly will be discussing about your methods to solve your CSAT, and obviously how to apply common sense in your CSAT. So one session will be dedicated only for your CSAT, that is aptitude and reasoning, and then obviously we'll do up your reading comprehension. So roughly around 6 types of comprehensions are there. What are the 6 types? We'll dedicate one class for it. After this, one session will take on how to read the most important book of your preparation, right? What is that book? Obviously, see, people know how innocent these are. What it is? What is the most important book? Which will roughly around 10 to 12 questions directly. If you know that book properly, 10 to 12 questions directly, and you don't have to spend hours and all for that book. It hardly takes 1 hour for revising the entire book, and you have to revise it some 10 times. So 10 hours. What is that book? It's not a book, obviously, who are told. What? Moru jana discuss ಮಾಡಿ hanging ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. So what are you discussing? At least tell me also whether I tell whether you are discussing what is correct or wrong. What is the most important book for your prelims? 10 to 12 questions every year will come from this directly. And if you know that book, obviously you are winning. Yes, it is the most important book. More than all the books you people are reading, no. wasting hours together revision. Maximum 1 question, 2 questions. But for with this book, it is going to, ये होता है हमेशा, every year 10 to 12 questions are assured from this particular book. So we are going to read how to read this book. It is not like ನೋಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಮಾಡೋದು. There will be 100 places in one single page. So there is a method of reading it. Okay, you have to mark in a different way. The color codings are different. So so whenever any class happens, you will be, you'll people, I think they'll make some group or something. So they'll be giving you information. I'll tell them what to get. So one day before, you get to know the timings also, and most of the time you have to carry some things, right? So what you have to carry, you'll be getting to know. So whoever is when I come to your atlas, now only you remember, if at all they forget to mention, you have to get your black swan atlas. Is that understood? Black swan atlas, that is the most important. It's a good addition because accuracy is more. So if you already not got, so make sure you buy that book. If you got some other book, it's up to you whether to continue it or invest 200 rupees. So it's up to you people, but I will be doing everything from your black swan atlas only. So the accuracy, page number, everything you can see, right? So this we are going to take one session, because obviously if at all we are doing roughly around 7 to 8 continents, and we have to see 28 states over there, it's not possible to do entire thing. But I will at least try to do maybe some 7 or 8 states in India, maybe some 4 continents in the world, major continents. Similarly, you have to do the other parts by yourself, right? So if you attend it, go home that day only and mark the entire atlas. ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಮಾಡೋದು 1 hour ಹಿಡಿಯುತ್ತೆ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ. If you revise even 10 times, you have a very high chance of getting these 10 to 12 questions. It's very, very important, and this is always the easiest games. Remember it. These are all the low hanging fruits. ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಬಾರ್ದು. If you go wrong over here, obviously you're going to lose over there. So then one more session I will dedicate for how to read your standard books, whichever standard books which 99% of the people are going to follow, same books only follow, nothing changes. Okay, ನೀವು ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಬೇರೆ ಪುಸ್ತಕ, ಈ ಪುಸ್ತಕ ಬಿಟ್ಟು 99% ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು 1% people are reading something else, I'll also read that particular book, congratulations, nothing's going to happen. It's just that you will not know how to read it. That's it. There's no as such anything. ನಿಮ್ಗೇನು 1% ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಆ ಬುಕ್ ಓದೋದ್ರಿಂದ it's not like something which you're going to have advantage and all. Everything is the same. So follow whatever is there. Okay, it's already there. You just follow those things. So the standard books only we're going to follow. Obviously, no book is there which is 100% accurate. Okay, ನೀವು ಓದಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ obviously you will feel everything is fine. But obviously people have read it again and again. People who have expertise in that field. Obviously they have pointed here and there some of the mistakes. It's not possible for any book to be 100% accurate. So it's okay. What we want is 99% accuracy. We don't want 1% error in the ಅಷ್ಟೇನು ಆಗಲ್ಲ, and there is no guarantee also that 1% error comes. If your bad luck is there, obviously it might come. Otherwise, so there is very high chance that it is not going to come only, right? So we will be following your standard books. So right now, what you're taking, 50 hours, 60 hours and all for you reading your standard books. Obviously, we can reduce it to at least 25% of the time. So there is a way of reading every book. So those 3 hours, I'll try to get some 3 to 4 books and tell you how to read it, so that your overall time for revision reduces, right? Otherwise, you'll be just wasting time. Taking 50 hours thinking it's the most important book, wasting 50 hours where 2 questions will come. And how much questions is coming, you have to dedicate so much time. There's no point, dedicating 50 hours for 2 questions and not dedicating something which is very important and not studying this. So apart from all this, I'll be discussing about how do you prepare in the next session, how to prepare your tables, short notes, all this for your prelims. These are the ones which will actually going to give you marks. These are the something which is indirectly going to help you in elimination. These are the one which is going to help you in your common sense. Okay, so it's a very, very important thing. Obviously 2026 people, you have enough time to do all these things now, but 2025 people know what it is and see the cost benefit ratio. Wherever it is possible with friends, you make sure you make your short notes and tables, because this is the most crucial part of your examination. And in the last session, we will discuss your important themes, which is most probable. So through your PYQs, we will target those areas which are strong probability is there. So over the last 20 years of paper, which area maximum questions are coming. So we'll try to target these areas, and through that area in the last 2-3 years current affairs lane, contemporary affairs lane agide, we'll try to predict those particular things. So 6 subjects are there, roughly around 50 topics for every subject. So 300 to 350 topics will be there. This you have to put, it's not like you have to ignore other things, this you have to put more focus, right, for 2025, right? So now you tell me, this will anyway consume around, including this class, somewhere around 8 to 9 sessions. So you want me to discuss anything else apart from this, you tell me in the starting only, so that I will adjust in these next 8 days only, next 8 sessions only. Obviously we cannot exceed more than that, so within that only we'll be doing it. So tell me anything is there you want to discuss apart from whatever I have told. Think about it, I'll give you 1 minute time, think about it, then maybe you can tell.
Sir, how to manage the bouncer questions?
How to manage? Can you repeat the
bouncer questions which will, sir, how to manage the bouncer questions which will appear into the examinations? Like, so for us we have the 60 questions. So 60 question only if we make right.
So yeah, in today's session is about that only, how to solve your prelims paper, where your randomized questions ಏನಿದೆ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೇ we'll discuss. So we'll come to this today's class only, we'll discuss that.
Yes sir, yes sir. I want to just know that. Thank you sir.
Yeah, you just remind me in case I forget, okay, in the last. So anything else? Anything else is there you want to discuss apart from the things which I have told you? Especially 20-25 people. No, ಮುಖ ನೋಡಿ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಫ್ರೆಶ್ ಮುಖಗಳು, just out of the egg. All shiny ಹೊಡಿತಿದೆ, and look at the people who are giving the exam, full of tension, full of stress, shine ಇಲ್ಲ. The more the shine, the less is your preparation. Simple. The duller it is, the more is your spend more time in your preparation, the more serious you are doing it. ये मत बोलो I have a Korean class can and I'm like this only naturally. वो सब किस करने के लिए time नहीं होता to maintain all those. So anything else? Last 30 seconds online as well. Time management for what? Can you repeat whoever is telling online? It's not audible. It's not audible. Okay, 2 people are watching together, and speaker you just should basically keep the phone near to you. It's not audible. Whoever is speaking. Who was speaking? Repeat, yaar.
Hello.
Hello.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
How to remember the concepts like without confusing the concepts, like if it is the articles or geography concepts or economy concepts like that? Sometimes we may confuse.
Okay, fine. We'll discuss some mnemonics which will be required for your exam, along with some of the basic tips. See, one is obviously your mental, second is your physiological, right? So both the aspects will do. Physiological in today's class only tells some basic do's and don'ts. We come to your memorization, how do you not get confused with respect to options and all, that I'll discuss, maybe in the next class. You just remind me next class when we're doing your analysis, so that we do, because today's class is jam packed. By the time we end it only, I don't think so. Whatever we have thought about the time, that might increase also. So with respect to your mental part, which is memorization, I'll tell you. So this mnemonics and that maybe on Saturday I will be telling you, right? Physiological part, some do's and don'ts I'll tell you, right? So yeah, anything else? Yeah, you are asking something. Time management. Time management for what? I'll give you the strategies. For which attempt? 2026 is not the right platform. I mean, if you want, maybe I'll tell you in a brief though later. Okay, 75 days strategy right? So current affairs, right? Okay, fine. Yeah. Anything else? ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್? ಏನಪ್ಪ ಕೇಳಬಾರ್ದು, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳಬಾರ್ದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ. It's okay, tell. Anyone else online? So we'll start today's class with the first element. Just write down those elements now, so that I don't have to go back previously what all you have to do. Yeah. So we are talking about your basic do's and don'ts with respect to your 2025 and 2026 and exam conditions. Together we'll see this. Then we'll start with your 75 days strategy, right? So 3 days. Ee moorunu vatige discuss ಮಾಡಿ, just write it down so that I don't have to come back to the same page again and again. Basic do's and don'ts, exam conditions, 75 day strategy. Written? How to solve paper we'll do in the end. Yeah, so what was it? Basic do's and don'ts, exam conditions, 75 day strategy, exam conditions. Yes. So I'll discuss generally and then I'll give you the next 75 days ka timetable. See, remember the difference between a person who's already given the attempt and a person who is giving freshly. What is the major difference? Experience. Experience about obviously how the paper comes, how to prepare your what you call revision, how to revise everything. Apart from that, the most important part is your exam conditions, right? So as soon as you know, roughly around 3 weeks before, 2 to 3 weeks before, you know, your prelims exam, 25th March, right? So maybe March first week or something, before March 10th, they'll be releasing your hall ticket. So your first thing what you have to do is go to that place, see whether you know that is accessible, ಎಷ್ಟು ಟೈಮ್ ಹಿಡಿಯುತ್ತೆ. Go on a Sunday morning. ಇವಾಗ ಫ್ರೈಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಎಲ್ಲ obviously auto, cab, everything you get. Sundays you usually don't get because everyone takes holidays, right? So go on a Sunday morning whenever you plan to go. So it's ideally, like let us say, you know, 9:30 is your exam starting. 9 o'clock the door closes. Okay, you have to be inside. You have to sit half an hour, no, doing nothing. Okay, so 9 o'clock you have to go, and 8:45 only it will start. Basically, people and all will be coming. So 8:45 andre 15 to 20 minutes buffer you have to take always. You never know, right? Panchar agbodu, or the traffic jam agbodu, ene ond agbodu. So 8:30, let us say if you have to reach also, depend upon where you go. Suppose you are in Chandra layout right now, ಎಂಟುವರೆಗೆ if you have to go to, let us say, some college in Vijayanagar only, so obviously it can be accessed in 15 minutes. But if you have to go to your Yelanka, it takes at least 1 hour, right? If you have to go to your Devanalli, 2 hours. Whitefield, 2 hours. And most of the time, please do not go in your what do you call, bus or metros and all, because ಒಂದು ನೀವು ನಡಿಬೇಕು, ಹತ್ತಬೇಕು, ತುಂಬಾ unnecessarily you want to struggle yourself physically. Don't struggle on that day. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಊಟ ಸ್ಕಿಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ದುಡ್ಡು ಉಳಿಸಿ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಮಾಡಿ, don't struggle on that day, because whatever is there you have to have the highest comfort. So obviously book a cab or something, then go wherever you are going. So plan your journey accordingly, right? So go visit first, you see that whether everything is there, and obviously if you are not lucky enough that college may bathroom be correct, say won't be proper, so in that case you should know where public toilets are also there, right? Google map ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ public toilets ಇರುತ್ತೆ, but ಅದು ಫಂಕ್ಷನಿಂಗ್ ಇದೆಯೋ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ. So you know, make sure that is functioning, where you get what coffee is where you get your breakfast, and in those 3 hours from 11:30 to 2:30 where you're going to basically take your rest. Plan everything properly beforehand. Don't think that avatin dina hogbatti ella nan madana. Don't do all this. Okay, I did it in my first attempt, and in those 3 hours and the entire 2 hours I was searching for food. You know, I was in Hyderabad, Mehdipatnam. That is like a bus stop, care market. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಊಟ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ನನ್ಗೇನ್ ಗೊತ್ತು? I am like Bruno taking entire round, and obviously I didn't find any restaurants or anything. Finally I had to order Zomato, which came half an hour ತಗೊಂಡ for a curd rice, and I spent 300 rupees only for 2 bites, because I didn't plan well, right? Obviously it's going to add a stress factor. 3 hours ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ it is going to affect your CSAT performance. So wherever it is, whatever it is, go beforehand, see the exam hall, nearby locations, how it is, because you will be writing in May 25th. ಇನ್ನ ಮಳೆಗಾಲ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಮುಂಚೆ 4-5 ವರ್ಷ ಮುಂಚೆ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕೂಲ್ ಆಗೋದು. May 25th is going to be very hot, right? Because monsoon will not yet enter. it usually enters around June 5th. If at all it is late, maybe June 10th. But May 25th is still the monsoon is not entering. It will be dead hot. So make sure that you have to carry enough stuff. If you are a person who sweats a lot, make sure you always carry your handkerchief. It is very important. There are small things, so but a small things, and you will forget it, and you're going to spoil your paper basically. So have a kerchief, have your tissues. People who feel very hot, who have a lot of sweating, this Dermacool powder will come, right? So use that particular powder. I'm not promoting any brand though. Okay, but people have used it. I don't use it, but people use it, and it is like now don't tell I don't use that powder, I don't use this brand only. एक दिन में तुम्हें cancer नहीं आएगा. Okay, nothing will happen, right? So don't be like specific about and all. If at all it is working, let it work. Carry sufficient amount of your dry fruits and all, because it's required in those 3 years. You need to have your energy, lot of nutrition, so that you actually attempt your paper, especially your what do you call fruits and dry fruits. More than food, you will be much more refreshed through your caffeine, fruits and dry fruits. So carry a lot of your dry fruits in the morning also, in the afternoon also. It is very crucial, right? And have a light breakfast. It's very important you have a light breakfast. ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದ್ ವಾರ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಬಂದಿರಲ್ಲ. 1 week you would have not slept, and that will be your D day. And on the D day, anything you eat, you will be very sleepy, and it's very possibility that you might go to sleep also. You might have stress irte, how can go? Arey yaar, brain agar if it is tired, it likes survival is more important than this exam. Ivattan dinake exam is more important for you people than life. But avattan dinake brain, when it activates the survival mode, you to survive is more important, and you will feel like it's okay, next year ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. And the next day when it happens, no, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಷ್ಟ ಪಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ 1 year would have been saved. So obviously don't make it a regretful decision, right? So have light food. Try to have your carbohydrates and proteins only. Don't have as such fiber and all. Fiber, I hope you understand. Salads and all. Cucumber is fine, but you have other salads and all. No, your carrot, radish and all. It takes digestive system takes more energy to digest all those. You don't have all those. Don't have a masaladar pulao or all those things. Have nice idli. We South Indians ka best advantage. We have your idli, right? So it's a filling also. It's nutritious enough. So carbs sigute alli. So have any decent. Don't have go to for your Mysore ghee masala dosa and all. Don't go for all those. Don't be obviously it's common sense here. Don't make it a heavy food. And if you are addicted to coffee, make sure you have coffee dose, caffeine dose. ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಇವಾಗ ಫುಲ್ ಅಡಿಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಅವತ್ತಿನ ದಿನ ಇಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ ಬ್ರೈನ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವೇಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಮೇಕ್ ಶೋರ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಯೋರ್ ಕೆಫಿನ್, ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಯು ಡ್ರಿಂಕ್ ಇಟ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಡೋಂಟ್ ಡ್ರಿಂಕ್ ಯೋರ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ವಿತ್ ರೆಡ್ ಬುಲ್, ಆಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಡ್ರಿಂಕ್ಸ್. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇ ಕುಡಿದಾಗ ಫುಲ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇ ಯು ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಫಾಲ್. Prelims it might work because it's a 1 day affair, but for mains it will not work, okay? Because next day only will become your energy will dip off. ನೀವು ಏನೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು energy dips off. That is how your energy drinks works also. So I will personally tell, don't have all those things, right? Have a lot of dry fruits, and उसमें भी dry fruits में बादाम, your kishmish, what do you call cranberry, or there is ಏನಂತಾರೆ ಅದನ್ನ, rich people can have walnut. What I'm telling is dates is a good source of your carbohydrates. Arey yaar, what is that? Anjur, right? So have that. It is a lot of energy you will get, and it is filling also. So make sure you have your anjeer also. Go spend 500 rupees. Nothing will happen. Don't be conjuice here. If you become conjuice, 3 lakh rupees per year. If at all you have to give one more attempt, you only count your 15,000 per month expenditure. 3 lakhs rupees ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. Don't be conjuice for 500 rupees and all. It's okay. Spend that day. ಸಾಲ ಮಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಮಾಡಿ, but ಮಾಡಿ, right? So that is with respect to your exam day. And coming to your sleep cycle, many of you have already started struggling with your sleep cycle, and you like it or not, it's going to become worse as the days near to the D day, right? So 25th May is your D day. So hokta you a lot of sleep, it might get affected. So obviously meditation is the Ramban for this. You follow any meditation, Kriya meditation, Vipassana you follow guided, whatever it is, follow meditation, right? It's very crucial. At least you do 15 minutes of your meditation. ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಮೆಡಿಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಕಣ್ಣು ಮುಚ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, that means you're not meditating. Okay, that is not how it functions. Go to YouTube, type your there is something called your meta meditation. you can maybe follow your meta meditation. It is a good guided meditation irutte. Kivi headphones ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು sit at a place for 15 minutes. So meditation you can follow. Along with your meditation, you call it, you can do your pranayam, or you can do your yogic breathing, or for that matter box breathing. You people and all Gen Z generation, no, who believes in American culture and all. So America also, Navy SEALs, their special agency, they follow box breathing. So box breathing ಏನಂದ್ರೆ basically your 5 seconds inside, you inhale, 5 seconds hold, 5 seconds exhale, 5 seconds hold. 20 seconds is one cycle. So you, after repeating of 6 to 7 cycles of this, roughly around 2.5 minutes you're spending. 2.5 minutes already your whatever anxiety you have, whatever panic you have, it's going to calm down. ನೀವು 2026 or 2026 people, you may not still understand all this, right? So these, look at these faces. You will still not understand all those things, but it will be helpful in the month of January next year, 2026. So make sure you do your box breathing properly. Right? I have to call it box breathing because if the moment I call it yogic breathing, the moment I call it pranayam, no, Arey sir, why should we follow Indian culture? Adala work agala. Some people will be there, right? So the same thing it is. They give the name of box breathing, but it's nothing but yogic breathing is the same thing, right? So you can follow this, and before giving your exam, make sure always you do this. Avatin dina onsaರಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಏನು ಆಗಲ್ಲ, right? Every day you have to do it from now, so that it, you always calm. So one more thing is, always give your exam GS paper from now on 9:30 to 11:30, and obviously 2:30 to your 4:30 you give your CSAT strictly on a OMR sheet. And this is 75 days is there, so you have to solve everyday paper from now. Okay, every day you have to solve a paper from now, either GS or CSAT, it doesn't matter, but you have to give your prelims paper. So I'll tell you in the last 15 days what to do. So roughly around 50 to 60 exam you're going to solve, out of which 75% of your will be GS and 25% will be CSAT. So make sure you are always following in the same thing. ಇಲ್ಲ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಇವತ್ತು ನಾನು CSAT ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ, don't do all those. You should also get habituated how to solve your paper in the afternoons also, because ಶೆಕೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಿಸಿಲು ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Obviously it's very tendency that after your food you take a nap, right? Some of you have a bad habit also. It's not wrong, but exam ದಿವಸ you don't have any place to sleep, no? ಇಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೆ ಲೈಬ್ರರಿ ಮಲಿಕೋತೀರಾ, ರೂಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಲಿಕೋತೀರಾ, ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಮಲಿಕೋತೀರಾ, ರೋಲ್ ಮಲಿಕೋತೀರಾ, no? Bangalore, no, they will just go off. Obviously, right? You don't have space to sleep over there. So you have to make sure that your brain is habituated to solve in this time only, right? So that is with respect to this, and obviously that half an hour will be there, 9 to 9:30. Maybe during your mocks and all, maybe 15 minutes you can spend. Actual exam is half an hour. That is a torture time, half an hour. Time ಎಷ್ಟೇ ನೋಡಿದ್ರು 1 minute ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, and some 50 times you see the time, and at the same time 1 minute ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಹೋಗ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ, because that half an hour waiting period is there. No, it's very much struggling. So make sure that you start on your paper at 9:15 only. Do your meditation, pranayam, whatever you want to do, visualization, all those you do, so that you can prepare yourself mentally. Remember one thing, ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗಲಿ ಪೇಪರ್, right? It is difficult for everyone. If the paper is difficult, it's difficult for everyone. If the paper is easy, it's easy for everyone. Just because you are finding difficult doesn't mean only you are going to fail, right? Everyone's the same thing, it is going to happen, because maximum 15 to 20 questions only you know. Other 80 questions is a gamble only at the end, right? So if it's difficult for everyone, so don't be in a don't lose your hope or don't lose your confidence in the middle of the exam, irrespective of the result. Even if you get negative, it's fine, but be the most confident person in your exam hall. Think that you only know everything and no one knows anything. Be like that attitude. Nothing will happen on that day, mata, obviously only on that day. So make sure you have enough of the confidence on that day, full entire day, right? So 2023 now prelims ಬರಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ the same thing has happened. It was the till now that is the toughest CSAT or what you call GS and CSAT prelims paper in the entire history of your UPSC. So almost 45-50 minutes into the exam hall, hardly I'm able to touch 2 to 3 questions, so like in the first round, and I'm like, arey yaar, 45 minutes, 6 years of preparation, 5 attempts, sab gaya, and the thoughts are coming up, and you have roughly 1 hour, you have not even touched more than 95 questions. So it was a tough thing. So then I saw all the people in the class, सबके होश उड़े हुए. And obviously, people will be like, don't know what to do. Some people will be there, ಏನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. Leave those people, they're anyway not in the competition. Okay, they're not in the competition. But majority of them are also. Then I thought, this is my time. Because, many of them will be there, I have to use my experience. Then I count myself, then only I give the exam. So it will happen to you also. Depends on whether it's easy or difficult. If you are feeling it is easy, that means the cutoff is going to go more also and others are also easy. Remember it. Okay, so don't be overconfident and mark off all the 100 questions. Adella madak hogedi. Just know your limit, right? So that is with respect to your exam and sitting for the exam. Other than that, in the next 75 days, what you can do is, obviously meditate morning and afternoon. This is very important because after reading for 10 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours, you'll be tired and there is uncertainty about the result of the exam. Agutto illa is a big question mark, right? So that bhaya idde irutte. So ratri niddeno barala. So make sure that you don't read at least 1 hour before the actually giving the before sleeping. 1 hour ಏನು ಓದೋಕೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಡಿ, ಕತೆ ಪುಸ್ತಕಗಳು ಓದಿ, ಸಾಂಗ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳಿ. Don't see your reels obviously, right? If you become excited for something, then another 1 hour gets wasted. If at all you see some sad reels, Zakir Khan ka dekh liya shairi, you go into depression. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. Obviously don't spend on Instagram. No, music is fine, books are fine, or at least just stay on your bed. Don't do anything. 1 hour ನಿದ್ದೆ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಕಣ್ಣು ಮುಚ್ಕೊಂಡಿರಿ. But stay there. Don't unnecessarily excite yourself or do anything else, right? So do your meditation sessions and all. Always eat 2 to 3 hours before. Why am I telling is sleep is the biggest problem for many of the aspirants. So always eat. Try to have your dinner before 7:30. So at least 2 to 3 hours is there. Try to maintain the cycle. From now on, 75 days is remaining. So try to sleep by 10. If not 10:30. If not maximum 11 o'clock. Don't push it beyond it. I will tell you to sleep till 10 because you have to get up tomorrow at 5:30 or 6 max. Right? 6 ಗಂಟೆಗೆಲ್ಲ ಎದ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೇಕು. Otherwise it's going to become difficult. You don't know, right? 20 ದಿನ 15 ದಿನ ಮುಂಚೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ದೇವನಹಳ್ಳಿನೋ ಯಲಹಂಕಲ್ಲೋ ನಿಮ್ದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 7 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಎದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗೋಕ್ಕಾಗತ್ತಾ? ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್. ಸೊ ಅವತ್ತಿನ ದಿನಕ್ಕೆ 6 ಗಂಟೆ and 15 days your sleep cycle will not change, right? Sleep cycle ಯಾವಾಗ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, it's going to affect your health. So make sure 75 days is there. Over the 2 months you have a fixed timetable. So always get up at 5:30 to 6. That's the ideal time. Sleep by 10:30. Go to your bed at 10 o'clock. Maybe by 11 o'clock you will get the sleep or something. And before you go to the sleep, at least 3 hours before your sleeping time, roughly around 7:30, finish off your dinner. Right? Obviously you can eat how much ever you want in the breakfast. Little less in your afternoon lunch and very very less in your dinner. Otherwise you cannot get up. ಒಂದು ನಿದ್ದೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಎದೊಳಕ್ಕೂ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. Right? So either of the things is going to affect. So eat very less and yeah. So now coming to your nutritional part, obviously don't become ill in this time. Unnecessary ವಿಜಯನಗರ ಫುಡ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಟ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದು ಇವಾಗ ಬಂದಾಗಿದೆ ತಾನೆ, ಅದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಗಯಾ ಫಿರ್. ಸೊ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಗೋ ಟು ಆಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಫುಡ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಟ್. ಯಾರೋ ಒಂದು ಹಬ್ಬ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ ತಿನ್ನಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ. ಡೋಂಟ್ ಡೂ ಆಲ್ ದೋಸ್. ಟೇಕ್ ಕೇರ್ ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್. ಬಿ ಕಾನ್ಶಿಯಸ್ ಎನಫ್. ಇಷ್ಟು ದಿನ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅಭ್ಯಾಸ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಕೈ ತೊಳೆದು ಊಟ ಮಾಡೋದು. Okay, but ಇವತ್ತಿಂದ you make sure you are washing your hands. Basic hygiene. Go to your COVID mode. Wash properly. ಏನೇ ಒಂದು ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಹಕ್ಷಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ you will see in April month many of the people in the library ಹಕ್ಷಿ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So take care of your health. ಅರ್ಧ ನೀವು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹುಷಾರ್ ತಗೋಗುತ್ತೆ, right? So don't fall ill. If you fall ill, 1 week recovery time. No, ಒಂದು energy timetable goes for waste, and obviously time is also getting waste. So make sure that you don't fall ill and all. So that's why you need nutrition. This is why preventive nutrition is important. From now on, at least have minimum 30 minutes of walk. 30 minutes of walk, yoga, exercise. Gym is also fine, cricket is also fine. Whatever you do. Don't injure yourself obviously, but do your physical activity. So the best part is walking, because scientifically it is seen that people who walk, their stress has reduced either in the morning or in the evening. Half an hour even 1 hour ಏನದು ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದೇನು ದವಾಕಲ್ಲ. So it's okay 1 hour if you are spending time for your walking, right? So make sure you walk enough and you have your physical thing, and obviously nutrition. From now on, at least take your healthy supplements, right? Most of the doctors, everyone takes these. Have your multivitamin tablets, up to you if you want to take it and all. Multivitamin tablets, you have your vitamin C tablets, they're all very cheap, right? 25 rupees entire sheet, 25 irutte, ಬಾಯಿಗೆ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಮರ್ತೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೇಕು, it automatically dissolves. Have your fish oil, it will increase your immunity. Fish oil, right? Cod liver oil, you can use it. Have 2 capsules a day. And what else you can have? Obviously have your dry fruits and all. ಏನು ತಿಂದೆ ಅಂತ ಇರಕ್ ಹೋಗಬೇಡಿ. And obviously I hope you understand your Indian diet, roti or chapati and ಏನಂತಾರೆ ರೈಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟು ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಇರಲ್ಲ. That's why you're consuming all these nutritional parts, right? If you're a non-vegetarian, obviously have your egg, chicken and all. Obviously summer ಇದೆ, ಮಟನ್ ತಿನ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು 2 ದಿನ ಎದೊಳದಂಗೆ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಹೋಗಬೇಡಿ. And remember one thing, the more healthy your gut is, the healthy your body is. You understand gut, right? Right? Whatever you're going to eat, it has to be healthy. If it is smoothly functioning, automatically you can concentrate also, automatically you can study also, automatically you can put in your effort also. If this goes spoils, you do the experiment by yourself. 2-3 hour ದಿನದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊಂಟೋಗುತ್ತೆ if your gut is not correct. That's why, because most of you are going to stay in your PG and hostels and all. You stay in home, that's a different issue. But if you're staying in PG and hostel, obviously यार तुम्हारा food तो बहुत ही quality वाला है, healthy वाला है, right? Very nutritious, very made in a very hygienic way. Just 2-3 days you won't take bath, but it's fine. So obviously ये सब है, तो you have to take care of your health. So if at all you follow your Ayurveda and all, you can follow your Rasayanas, right? Rasayanas are there, Chunas are there, preventive health, right? Obviously consult, don't go to Google and type all. Consult Ayurvedic doctor. They're all preventive things, builds your immunity for your body. So that is with respect to your physiological. And someone asked about your memory, right? So memory also, your Ayurvedic supplements like Rasayanas are there, Chunas are there. Your why you're becoming, brain is becoming weak, because nutrition is not going enough. Be hydrated, at least drink 5 to 6 liters from now on. That's very important. On the exam day, make sure you have enough chocolates. ಒಂದು 5 ಚಾಕ್ಲೇಟ್ ತಿನ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ನೀವೇನು 1 kg ದಪ್ಪ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. It's okay. Okay, so have your Snickers before you go to the exam hall. Have a dairy milk ready. ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇವಾಗ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು, ಹಿಂಗೆ ಇದು ಈ ಆಡ್ ಬರ್ತಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ದು ಸಿಲ್ಕ್ದು, ಹಿಂಗೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ಕೆಟ್ರಿನಾ ಕೇಫ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ನೀವಲ್ಲಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಡೋಂಟ್ ಡೂ ಆಲ್ ದೋಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸೌಂಡ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ. ಡೋಂಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬ್ ಅದರ್ಸ್. ಇಫ್ ಅಟ್ ಆಲ್ obviously invigilator finds out, he is going to throw you. You are allowed to eat, you are not allowed to disturb others, right? So have your chocolates. You need enough carb again and again. And take a 1 liter water bottle will be fine, because it's summer, right? 2.5 ಗಂಟೆ ಕುತ್ಕೋತೀರಾ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. 2 hours is exam and half an hour to sit idly. So 2.5 hours if you sit, 1 liter water will be fine. And you can add some electrol or glucose to it, so that you take a sip. Remember, you have to drink water, otherwise oxygen is not going to the brain. Water has oxygen, right? So it has to go to the brain. ನೀವು ಯಾವಾಗ ಬ್ಲಾಂಕ್ ಆಗ್ತೀರಾ, ಯಾವಾಗ ಸುಸ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಡೋಂಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಆನ್ ದಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಹಾಲ್. Do it in the mocks, right? So that your body knows that how to behave, how to react. And have a glucose water, so that you can take a sip every 5 questions or 10 questions, so that your brain functions properly. And don't drink excesses also. You are not allowed to go outside the classroom. ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಅರ್ಧ ಗಂಟೆ ನೀರು ಕುಡಿದೆ ಸರ್, 1 hour ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ವಾಶ್ರೂಮ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಸರ್. Obviously it's not allowed. Once you are in, you are in. If you are out, you are out for that particular exam. So know your capacity. ಕೆಲವರಿಗೆ 1 ಲೀಟರ್ ಕುಡಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅನ್ಸಲ್ಲ, 4 ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ ಕುತ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ಕೆಲವರು ಅರ್ಧ ಲೀಟರ್ ಕುಡಿದು ಪಟ್ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಧ ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಎದ್ದೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ನೋ ಯೋರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಇಫ್ ಅಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪನೂ ಓದ್ಬಿಟ್ರು ಅಥವಾ ಬಿಸ್ಲಿಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೇನೋ ತಲೆನೋವು ಬಂತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಯುವರ್ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಯು ಟೇಕ್ ಯುವರ್ ಪೇನ್ ಕಿಲ್ಲರ್ಸ್. ಅವತ್ತಿನ ದಿನಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಬೇಕಾ ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿ. ಅವತ್ತಿನ ದಿನಕ್ಕೆ ಆ ಮೊಮೆಂಟ್ ಏನ್ ಬೇಕು ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿ. ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕಾಯಿಲೆ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅಥವಾ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಇದೆಯಾ ಅಂತ ಅವತ್ತೊಂದು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಆಯ್ತು. ಬಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್ ಮೊಮೆಂಟ್ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಯೋರ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಟು ಬಿ ಇನ್ ದ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. Mains again, it's even more bigger preparation. Prelims is a easier thing because it's a matter of 4 hours. Still, so much is the preparation is there. Mains again, you have to prepare a exam thing. So that is some of the exam conditions. Then what else we told? Yeah. So the next, I'll tell you about 75 days. Health and some basics I'll tell you. So what is the date today? 12th March. And your exam is on 25th May. So roughly around, I think, how many days? Nearly count ಮಾಡಿ 18 19 plus 30 plus 24. And ಅವತ್ತಿನ ದಿನ ಓದ್ತೀರೇನು? So let us say 20 only. 50, roughly around 70 days. Okay, roughly around 70 days is there. ಇವಾಗ ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? ಇವಾಗ ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ ಬರೀ 70 ದಿನ ಅಂತ? ಟಿಲ್ ನೌ ಯು ಡಿಡ್ಂಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್. ಲುಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಟ್ ಯೋರ್ ಫೇಸ್ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಔಟ್. ಅರೆ 70 days sir, that's all. So in these 70 days, some of your targets are, will plan according to our targets. So one is, by now you would have already started the revision, right? By now you would have already started. It's not like now you are starting. So minimum I expect you have to do your 3 times static revision, minimum 5 times current affairs revision, and if at all you have value addition, table, short notes, you know, obviously you have to revise them also. Your what I call basic notes, minimum 5 times obviously. वो तो minimum ही रहेगा. Apart from this, you should also revise your synopsis of your exam. ಏನೇನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ? See, there are 2 ways of revising your synopsis. After solving the entire paper, you have your synopsis ready. See, when you're giving your first attempt, you will not have so much knowledge and all. So you will read up, and out of 100 questions, there will be some 40-50 questions we have not heard about. ಪ್ರತಿ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಸಿನಾಪ್ಸಿಸ್ ರಿವೈಸ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ವಿಚ್ ಎವರ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಯೋರ್ ಸ್ಟಾಟಿಕ್ ಬುಕ್ಸ್, ವಿಚ್ ಎವರ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಯೋರ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಫೇರ್ಸ್ ಬುಕ್ಲೆಟ್, ವಿಚ್ ಎವರ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಯೋರ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಅಡಿಷನ್, only those things you revise, not the entire thing. Otherwise obviously इसमें भी ज़्यादा time लग जाएगा, right? So only those things you revise. So now either you take the booklet and you just use a highlighter. Obviously don't highlight everything यार, वो common sense है. Whatever you can remember, very minimal you have to highlight. Or one more way is, maintain a book, write down all those things. If you have 40-50 questions to do, don't write it in a paper, it's a waste of time. But if you have 10-15 questions, then you should write it on a paper and revise that book again and again. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು synopsis paper, throw it off. Don't let it not be in front of you, throw it off, right? So remember, 2 ways are there, especially if you have 40-30 questions, then you highlight it, not everything, only the crisp part. If at all there are less than 15 questions, you write it on in your synopsis book. Remember it, okay? And you have to make all your notes, otherwise you'll forget it obviously, all the people online also. So you have to do your synopsis ka revision. And along with synopsis, what you have to revise? Atlas, very very important. Anything else you have to revise apart from these? ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿ, ಇನ್ನೇನು ರಿವೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಇಷ್ಟು ಮಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಇದು ಮಾತ್ರ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರಿ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್, so called major, very important. ये है important. Anything else you are revising? Tell me, it's okay. No, right? So now let us calculate how many hours we have. So last 3-4 days you leave it, okay? ಅವತ್ತು ಓದಕ್ಕೂ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, just for self satisfaction ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಹೊರತು, and you need a buffer time also. So out of 70 days, now is the time you have to read minimum 10 hours. If you mess around now, obviously you are going to lose this attempt. Now only I am telling you. So out of these 70 days, let us say in the next 60 days you have to go hardcore. Last 10 days you become, normal. Don't become too much less also, don't become too high also, normal you do. So let us say in these first 60 days, you are roughly doing, how many hours you do? 12 hours? Is that fine? Right? 12 hours you do. And in the last 10 days, you are going to do 10 hours. Basically 9 to 10 hours you are going to do. So in a day, 60 days is there. And let us say how this 5 days you are taking leave in between. ಹುಷಾರ್ ತಪ್ಪೋಯ್ತು, ಅಥವಾ every 10 days you are taking one leave. Out of 70 days, every 10 days you have need one time, right? To recover yourself. So 5 to 6 days I am leaving, so 5 days you are leaving. So you have roughly around 65 days remaining. 5 ದಿನನೂ ಉಳಿಯಲ್ಲ, I tell you what to do in those time. So remaining. So in these 65 days, you have how many days? चलो इसमें 50 कर देते, वो 10 कर देते. So you have roughly around how many hours remaining? So 15 to 12, how much you have? पता चल रहा है इसी सेट, 600, and here it is 100. So roughly you have 700 hours time. 700 hours time. Now in a particular day, out of these 700, which is the target, in a day, let us say you spend 2 hours for your paper solving, right? Paper 2 hours, right? Then you took for analysis. How much time you take? For the one which I am going to teach you, it takes only 5 minutes. पर तुम्हारा वो सब notes करने का, synopsis करने का, that will take time. So again 1 hour. So 3 hours gone, right? 3 hours gone. Now let me keep it as 10 hours only the target, because obviously target meet ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 12 ಅವರು ಹಾಕಬೇಕು, 14 ಅವರು ಹಾಕಬೇಕು. So it depends upon the target. So I'm giving you a ideal way, and not everyone is capable to sit for 12 hours. That factor also to take, not less than that. Especially in your initial attempts, first, second, third attempt, you cannot study less than this. Fourth attempt to fifth attempt to sixth attempt, seventh attempt, I can understand. Chalo, तुम्हारा उतना you have revised everything already, and you know how to do things, and वो तुम्हारा बुढ़ापा हो रहा है, so obviously the capacity is not there. That and all I can understand. But the first 3 attempts तो obviously यार तुम्हें तो 10 घंटा लगाना ही है, minimum it is, right? So 3 hours is gone, remaining 7 hours is there. Now these 7 hours, what are you going to do? So one was your current affairs. So 1 hour will go for your current affairs. One more was your value addition, and one more was your. So how much are remaining? 4 plus 6. Static madadeke you have roughly. You have to make running notes. Okay, keep making running notes. So 4 hours. So if you are able to distribute your thing like this, it will be fine. See now, in static also, some people can do the entire subject for 4 hours. Some people get bored. If at all you revise some 10-20 times, you will get bored. ಎರಡು ಮೂರು ಸರಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಬೋರ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಹೊರತು ಬೋರ್ ಅಂತೂ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಐದರ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರೀಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಒನ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್, or you can read 2 subjects, not more than that. Okay, so whenever you're reading 2 subjects, one difficult and one easy. Let us say you're doing economy, which is difficult, you will be doing, let us say, environment. If you're doing, let us say, your ancient history, then do modern history also. Modern history is easy, ancient is difficult, right? So do a mixture, one difficult, one easy, if you're doing 2 subjects, if at all you're doing. If you're doing obviously single subject, stick on to it, don't unnecessarily do it, right? So this division will work, because every day current affairs 5 ಇಂದ minimum ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, you can imagine it will take roughly around 15 to 20 days to finish all the booklets, right? So 1 hour ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು, so roughly around wo time gaya usme. So even if you're repeating in the 60 days 3 times, you can see only 3 revision is happening. So your target is how many days current affairs should be done? Every 10 days the cycle of current affairs should be there, because you need to have 6 revisions. Similarly, this also value addition, let us say you need to do how many times? 60 days is there, so roughly 10 times you have to do. So 6 days is your cycle again. And your synopsis again, let us say you are doing it, let us say 6 times. So roughly around how many days you have? Let us say 8 days, because papers are more. 8 days like a cycle. Then you have your static, obviously 20 days is the maximum time you have to give for your per cycle, right? And this though remains, obviously though remains same. So if you are able to do this, that will be more than sufficient. Now coming to the subjects, in the way which you have to read, always use little bit of common sense. Difficult, you should see, ಇವಾಗ ಪಾಲಿಟಿ ಏನೋ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಓದ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಾ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಾ, you get confused. Supreme Court, High Court, you will get confused. So don't make sure polity you never read at the last, right? You always read in somewhere in the mid part. Read those subjects which are difficult to remember. ನೀವು ಎಷ್ಟೇ ನೆನಪಿರಲ್ಲ, but if you are remembering at the towards the end, visual memory will be there, right? So that's why you can read your ancient medieval culture at the last, because you need your visual memory. Then you can read your modern history, obviously read your polity before that. Then maybe you can read your geography. These are all high, giving marks, right? Geography. And then you can read your, let us say, your what is that? Economy is an analytical subject. Jasti kashta iralla, once artha abitre you understand, right? So economy you can read it in the start. Read your science and tech in between. Environment next. So if you are following your static part order like this is the static part. A nala cover in madadri, the static part which we are discussing over here, I'm giving that order. And similarly for your current affairs, always read those things which you have to remember more. So your science and tech, environment, economy, your IR, ಇನ್ನೇನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ? Social issues read in the first, ಅದಲ್ಲೇನು ಇರಲ್ಲ ಓದಕ್ಕೆ. Yeah, culture, Maybe culture, you can read it over here. What did I remove? Yes. Then you have your polity. Nenad Bharta. Government schemes will be there usually. So maybe you can read it here. Government schemes. Right. And updated will be there usually. Right. So that updated you obviously read it in the end because it's a mixture of all the subjects. Updated 1 or 2. So whichever you are going to read, this will be fine. Right. So you can follow this order for your PT 365s. Now, if at all you are a person who have followed monthly, which out of hardly here, obro sigbodu. If at all you are doing monthly, it's simple thing. January in the next April vargu madidira. So roughly around 12 plus 4, 16 months you have. Do it from January to April. One day, one booklet. That's it. Not to do anything else. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? ಸೊ 15 ದಿನ ಒಂದು ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಸೈಕಲ್ ಮುಗ್ದು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. So maximum time you have to give is 1 hour for that 1 month. So I don't know whether you're going to read your monthly or not, right? So PT, if you are especially giving your first, second, third attempt, then PT works. If at all you are a person who knows how to make notes, how to read prelims and mains, current affairs, then maybe you can do your in that order. So this is your PT 365 and static part, right? So then comes your, what else we have to discuss? Static part is a synopsis, the value done, analysis I told. Yeah, coming to your current affairs for your 2026. Again, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡು ಮಂತ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ PT ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. I would personally suggest you go for your PT because ನಿಮಗೆ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. You don't know how to make notes. You don't know how to identify what is works for prelims, what works for mains. You don't know. And when you're reading it also, obviously you have to make separate notes from your monthly for your mains. You have to compile everything. And prelims also have to compile. So it's a more work is there. One monthly madadike at least 12 to 14 hours it takes, right? One is reading, then you have to make all those notes and all. So obviously if you are told you are doing once in a month, monthly ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 12-14 hours ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ಓದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಮುಗ್ದೋಗುತ್ತೆ. And that is more than sufficient. ಮತ್ತೆ ಮೇನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ you'll get. It has its own advantage, disadvantage. The biggest problem is you don't know how to make. Advantage is just after your prelims, mains ಬರೆಯಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ around 40-50 days ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ mains compilation will come. So you have to take the printouts, you have to read, you have to mark, then memorize. Big work in those 40 days, more time consuming, right? But if you are doing monthly, everything is already ready. You don't have to wait. You have advantage over those people. 99% people kinda ಜಾಸ್ತಿ advantage ಇದೆ. But the biggest problem is you should know how to make differentiate prelims and mains, which is a very tough job. There is no point in marking everything, marking every notes. It's better you wait for PT 365. In my first attempt, I did the same mistake. Full monthly, January indella idkonditte and I highlighted entire thing, color book agbittittu, yellow color everything, because I didn't know how to do it, right? And obviously I was hardly able to revise even once before the prelims. So obviously hangadaga it's not possible to read the entire monthly compilation, right? Estanta ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಏನು ನೆನಪಿರಲ್ಲ. You should know what to target. So in the first 2 years of your preparation, usually you will not know. So that's why I'm telling, unless some guru is there, some mentor is there and he has told you how to do, you will not know. So that is why I will personally suggest you go for your PT 365, right? So that is with respect to your current affairs. Newspaper in the ಏನು ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, current new hours, right? Newspaper in the ಏನು ಮಾಡೋ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. Newspaper do, what is the use of your newspaper is current affairs. See, there are people in the market who are doing that job. They are paid to do that job. Why you have to do that job? ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅದರದ್ದು ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು, ಅದರದ್ದು ವೇ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು, ಅದ್ರ ರೆಕಮೆಂಡೇಶನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು, ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. ನೀವು ಗೂಗಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 3 ಅವರ್ ಹಿಡಿಯುತ್ತೆ ಒಂದು ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ. It's a waste of time. People are there who already done it. So just read those things, right? What you have to note down is value addition for your mains. Examples, case studies, events, incidents. ಇದೆಲ್ಲಾನು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇದು ಯಾವ್ದನ್ನು ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ, ಯಾರು ಮಾಡೋದು ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಮೇನ್ಸ್ಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ ಯು ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಅಟ್ ದಿ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಯೋರ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಅಡಿಷನ್. Obviously you want to have a better chance of clearing the exam than the person who has not done anything, because those are the brownie points, right? So newspaper ಇಂದ ಬರೀ ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾತ್ರ ಕಾಪಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಹೊರತು not your current affairs and all. You don't have to make issue notes because people are doing, but the remaining things it's your job to do. When I show you the tables and all, no, ಅದು ಯಾರನ್ನು ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ you are at advantage in prelims. Mains ಅಲ್ಲಿ there are more than 300 value addition ka topics. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ನೀವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡನ್ ಇಟ್, ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಐ ಗಾಟ್ ಅ ಗುಡ್ ಸ್ಕೋರ್ ಇನ್ ಮೈ ಮೇನ್ಸ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಹೂ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ದೇ ಡೂ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ವರ್ಕ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಸ್ಮಾರ್ಟ್ ಎನಫ್ ವಾಟ್ ಟು ಮೇಕ್, ವಾಟ್ ನಾಟ್ ಟು ಮೇಕ್. ಇಸ್ ದಟ್ ಫೈನ್? ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಿತ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ಯೋರ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಕಾಲ್ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಇಂದ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತ. ಡೋಂಟ್ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಮೋರ್ ದೆನ್ ಹಾಫ್ ಅನ್ ಅವರ್, right? Don't spend more than half an hour in your newspaper. It's not even required. So 1 hour ಓದ್ತಿದ್ರೆ 2 hour ಓದ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ I think you are doing your पंचवर्षीय योजना like your planning commission, and तुम्हारा target 2030 होगा शायद, because you're wasting every day 2 to 3 hours, right? In reading something, in making notes something which will never be used in your exam. Can you guarantee whatever making your notes is of highest quality? After making it also, can you guarantee that it's going to come in the exam? No, right? उसका कितना है? 20 questions will be coming for your prelims. Maximum 25 questions. Prelims or current affairs base. For your mains, maybe some 40% questions is coming. Spend only that much time. There's no point in giving hours and hours for your current affairs. People are doing yaar. Why you want to become a donkey over there? Become a horse. Your work is to become a horse. Don't become a donkey unnecessarily. Do everything by yourself. Right? So that is with respect to your current affairs. I think I have addressed your question, right? So what else is there? Validation. I'll show you that when we do it, that class. Synopsis, I told you. Static part, I told you the papers wise. And how to read it, I'll tell you. So now coming to how to solve your, anything else was there? Enitadu? What were the topics?
Basics exam condition, 75 days strategy, how to solve it.
Yeah, so how to solve the paper will do. Did I give 75 days target? You have to remind me, no? I was moving off to the other topic. Where was it? So how many hours you have? कहाँ गया यार? I wrote somewhere in it something. So 700 hours is there, and you have to plan your 700 hours. So now, yeah, where was that? I told no 10 hours ये सब हो रहा है. Yeah, this one only. So 700 hours is there, and this is the distribution. Now roughly around, if you're doing it, you calculate how much time it will have. 3 hours will go every day for your solving the papers, right? And then you have current affairs you're spending, right? And then you're spending 1 hour. I've given you the cycle ka revisions also, synopsis also I've given, static also I've given. So roughly if you calculate 4 hours into how many days? 60 days. Kitna time milega? 240 hours you have. In these 240 hours only you have to give. Out of 700 hours, you are dedicating time of 240 hours only for your static part. Now if you're doing 600 hours, you can see. Idu planning tumba important. Are you understanding how your time is going? You are unnecessarily giving 300 hours extra for something which is not that much use. So now what you have to do is, so let us say 12th March, I told you how many days you have to finish one cycle? 20 days. You have only 20 days to finish your cycle. So how much time you will have? 20 days andre? From tomorrow? 17 days. So this is March, right? 18 days. 18 plus, so 2nd April, let us say. 2nd April is your first cycle. 3rd to, let me give you a break. 4th to 24th April is your second cycle. And then you have your 26th April to roughly around 15th, 5 plus 5, 15th May. So 3 cycles for your static part. Obviously current affairs I'm not talking here. Current affairs ಪ್ರತಿ 10 ದಿನಕ್ಕೂ ಮುಗಿಬೇಕು. ವ್ಯಾಲಿಡೇಷನ್ ಪ್ರತಿ 10 ದಿನಕ್ಕೂ ಮುಗಿಬೇಕು. ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ನಿಮ್ದು ನೀವೇ ಹಾಕೋಬೇಕು. ಸ್ಟಾಟಿಕ್ ದು ಬೇರೆ ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ಸ್. For your static there is a different target. For your current affairs there is a different target. For validation there is a different target. Are you understanding? It's not the same things. This is only for your which part? Only for static part. So whichever order of the subjects I gave, now if you are doing that order, how many days it will take? Let us say, so how many days you are taking? If I ask you, give off 6 months ka plan, no? How much time you are taking andre? So ideally how much time you have to give is, this can be done in, let us say, maximum, let us say do hours wise, not days wise, right? So you have roughly around how many hours for your static part? 240 hours is there, divided by 3 cycles. So how many hours you have? यार तुम्हारा C set का क्या होगा यार? 240 divided by 3 कितना है? 80 hours you have. Let me write some other thing. So 80 hours you have. So in these 80 hours, if you have to dedicate your time, I'll just give you the hours wise. Now adna ಓದೋದು ಬೇರೆ ತರ ಓದೋದು. I'm just giving you the hours division. So how much you might take ancient medieval culture? Let us say which are pakka things. Polity 5 hours you tell of 50 hours, 80 hours ಇರೋದು 50 hours ಹೊಂಟೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನೇನು ಅಲ್ಲಿ 30 hours ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಏನು ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ. So let us say geography, how much time you take? You have to read only 2 books. I'll tell you the sources also anyway with this. NCERT 11th and 12th, right? So physical geography, Indian geography is there. How much hours you take maximum? तुम लोग तो बता नहीं पाओगे, इनको बताने दो, वो आगे studying for the exam. 6 hours is acceptable hours for 2 books. नहीं वेले. If you ask me, 1 hour is enough. But I'm asking you people. 4 to 6 hours is acceptable time. Who is giving 20-25 attempt? You just raise your hand. 25 attempt. अब क्या हाथ तो रुक गया है क्या? In 1 hour only your attempt got cancelled this year. Huh? Raise your hand again. So you people tell me, all the first benches. देखो यहीं पे दिख रहा है. तुम्हारा क्या हाल है? हाँ? So how much hours you are trying to give for your geography? बताओ यार, जल्दी जल्दी बताओ. So let us say I give roughly around 7 hours for your geography. Okay, 7 hours. 1 घंटा मैं ज़्यादा ही देता हूँ, right? So then for your, let us say, modern history, how much time you take? Modern history. तुम who are going 2026, no? Now see how much hours is actually taken ideally, and then you see how much hours you are taking, and by the end of that time I know how much hours you will be telling. So I'll ask you how much hours you are taught. Really, modern history. Now it depends upon the source. So if you're reading your Bipin Chandra, obviously there is some time. Spectrum ಓದ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪೂರ್ತಿ book ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ even 15 days is not enough. So if you already marked or you have made little bit of here and there notes, then it's a different issue. So you tell me how many hours? How many hours? Tell, you're giving the exam, no? बताओ. Still not studied modern history. No. How many hours? Let us say I'm considering Bipin Chandra, okay, the shorter book. Spectrum obviously ಅದು ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಓದಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 15 ದಿನನೂ ಸಾಲಲ್ಲ. So if you are little smart enough and you have made some notes ಅದು highlight ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ it's a different issue, right? So roughly around let me take 12 hours. Okay, 12 hours for your modern history. Now coming to your ancient medieval, how many hours? You can read your Lucent GK, that's more than enough. Okay, Lucent GK ka first 100 pages only, not the entire thing. So 100 pages, so even if you are spending, let us say 15 pages in an hour, how much time will take? Roughly around 8 hours, right? That will be sufficient, right? यार तुम खुश हो जाओ यार, 15 घंटे देता हो तुम. Why are you so 100 hour अलग sir, 100 hour अलग sir? People are discussing over that. चलो 15 घंटा, 3 घंटा बोनस दिया तुम लोगों को. Okay, so तुम ancient medieval, how many hours you going to take? Roughly around 8 hours is more than enough. Okay, culture also if you including 10 hours total. So how much hours is already gone? 32 hours is gone, almost is ending your midpoint. So then coming to your economy, how much you take? So there is no, I will not tell any standard source for it, because obviously everything has its own pros and everything has its own cons. Any standard source, if you have understood the basic concepts, then how much time you will take? Maximum 70 hours, 7 hours. Any common hours? How many hours? Tell. ಹೇಳಿ. ಕೇಳಬೇಕಾ? ಹೇಳಿ. Let us say I tell for your economy you need around roughly around 10 hours. Okay, 10 hours. Environment science and tech is very small topics. Standard static part will be very less if you have already prepared it. So hardly it takes 5 hours. Let me give. So 20 gaya, 35, 45, 52. So how many hours you have for your No, polity. According to this, there are 28. But you can finish this in how many hours? 15 hours is more than sufficient. Okay, 15 hours is more than sufficient to do your Lakshmikant, provided you know how to do it. Provided you know how to read it, how to study your book. Right? So let me say 20 hours. तुम खुश हो जाओ यार. ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ ಕಣ್ಣಾಕ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ, ಹುಷಾರು. ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಶನಿವಾರ ಮರದಿನ ರೋಡ್ ಬನ್ನಿ, ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ ಕಣ್ಣಾಕ್ಬಿಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. 20 ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಂಗಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀಕಾಂತ್ ಅಂತ. ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ 20 hours. ಸೊ 5 hours ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ಯುವರ್ ಬಫರ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ 1 hour ಹೋಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಬಫರ್ ಟೈಮ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್ ರೀಸನ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ಯು ದೋಸ್ 5 hours. ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕೌಂಟೆಡ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಇವನ್ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಪ್ಲಾನಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್, ಡೋಂಟ್ ಮೇಕ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಟೈಟ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ಸ್. 100 hours ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಫಾರ್ 90 hours. If you have 50 hours, always plan for 45 hours. Are you understanding? Never make it a watertight. Because obviously, ನೀವು ಓದೋರ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ ಸರ್, ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಮೀಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಓದ್ತಿರೋರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ that whatever time you think, that is not sufficient. Always there is a, see, ನಿಮ್ದು reading time depends upon your mental capacity also. If you have the highest concentration, highest productivity, you can read your 100 pages, maximum, 5 hours. But if at all concentration is not there, stress is there, even 10 hours is not sufficient to read 100 pages. Yes or no? So it depends upon the mental situation also. So this is 75 hours, the entire thing can be done. 5 hours is your buffer time. So I have given you the targets time. 1 hour plus or minus ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. plus or minus 1 hour is fine. Don't make it obviously plus or minus 10 hours and all per subject. It is not advised. Plus or minus 1, that is the maximum thing. So this is the distribution of your static part. And I have also given your I didn't give your PT 365, right? So coming to your PT 365, social issues can be done in 1 hour, government schemes in 2 hours, polity in 1 hour, your IR in let us say 1.5 hours or let us say 2 hours. Culture can be done in 1 hour, economy will be done. ಹೇಳಿ ಈ ಮೂರು ಹೇಳಿ ನೀವೇ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಟೈಮ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ. That is the standard time. ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಹಿಡಿಯಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಹೋದ್ರೂ ಟೈಮ್ ಹಿಡಿಯಲ್ಲ. So these 3 you tell, that is you leave, that is the standard time. But it's okay. ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಆಮೇಲೆ ತಲೆ ಕೆಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. 20 minutes, in fact you can do it in 15 minutes also, culture and all. ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ತಲೆ ಕೆಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. So how much time you take economy, environment, science and tech? You tell. So let us ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡಿ. ಎಷ್ಟು 5 hours ಹಿಡಿಯುತ್ತೆ ಏನೋ ಅನ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ 3 hours ಅಂತಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ನಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ಇದು. By the time you are hesitating and telling number of hours, I can make out that. So roughly around economy 4 hours, environment 4 hours. I don't know how it is happening in 2 hours. Let us say 3 hours or let us say 4 hours only for this also. Right, and updated. So 215 pages, 250 pages per updated. So roughly around this may be 3 hours and 3 hours. So kitna hua? 6, 10, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, 25 hours. So 25 hours your current affairs is finishing. So roughly around if you're doing 1.5 hour, istu time idiyala istu. If at all you have done it properly, correct highlight madide istu time idiyala. This I am telling maximum time. 20 hour ಹಿಡಿಬಹುದು. In fact 15 hour ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಮುಗಿಸಬಹುದು ಈ PT part na. 15 hours is 12 to 15 hours is minimum time, 25 is the maximum time. Ideally 15 to 20 hours you can finish this, right? So even if you're doing in 1.5 hours every day, mark your targets. ಇವಾಗಿಂದನೇ 1 hour ಅಂದ್ರೆ let us say you have your IR 100 pages are there. So ಇವಾಗ ಇದು 2 hour ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಗಿಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ 50 page 1 hour ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಗಿಬೇಕು. That should be the target. You should do your mathematics by yourself. 50 pages 1 hour ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಗಿಬೇಕು. That is should be your target, right? So ಯಾವಾಗ ಅದು 4 hour ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ 150 page ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ how many pages per 40 pages per hour. So this is how you have to calculate, right? So this is the time required for this. Obviously ನೀವು value addition ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿದಿರಾ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್. ಇವಾಗ 300 ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದಿರಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 1 hour ದಿನಕ್ಕೆ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು it will take time. Depends upon you how much value addition you have prepared by yourself. Then synopsis will be there. Again it depends upon you. I will give the advice. If at all you have a book like this, 100 sheets is more than enough for synopsis, maximum enough. So first page you can write your current affairs. After 20 pages you can write your let us say economy, 20 pages environment, 20 pages science and tech, 20 pages history, all history, modern, ancient, medieval, culture, everything. and after that you can write your places, IR, places, geography, everything together. ಇನ್ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಉಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಹಾಕಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ 20 pages division, make one book only. So every time whenever you are writing your synopsis, write it here only. And ಅದನ್ನ ಬರಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಕಥೆಗಳು ಬರಿಬೇಡಿ. If at all you are making your notes, let us say give me some topic which is there currently. So right now your PLA is there, right? What is that? There's a train accident happened, and Balochistan Liberation Army is there. So this is there in the news. Balochistan Liberation Army, right? They have done the attack. So what is this Balochistan? You should know. Yavagadu, yav year ali. So if at all I'm making the notes, I'll be writing the heading like this. Let us say 1. And I'll write down which year it was formed. Don't write it was formed in 1985. Don't write all those. Simple year 1985. Where it is present? Where it is present? In Pakistan. Write in short form. Where all it functions? Iran, Pakistan, Afghanistan, right? And any other information, any one. Obviously, yaro head to adike master yaro second in command adella kelala. Common sense adu, right? 3 to 4 lines. And if at all it's a environment, economy or science and tech concept, maximum 7 lines. Ashte. This should be your notes. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಿನಾಪ್ಸಿಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 2 ಪೇಜ್ 3 ಪೇಜ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲನೇಷನ್, ಬಟ್ ನೀವು ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತ? ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ದನ್ ಸಫಿಶಿಯಂಟ್. ಡೋಂಟ್ ರೈಟ್ ಕತೆಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಬರೆಯಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಇವನ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್. ರೈಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಶಾರ್ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್. ಈ ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ವಾಟ್ಸ್ಆಪ್ ಜಮಾನ, ಬಟ್ SMS ಒಂದು ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ SMS 100 SMS ಇರ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಬಿಯಾಂಡ್ 256 ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಅದೇನಾದ್ರೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ SMS ಇರ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ 256 ಲೆಟರ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಜನ ಇಷ್ಟು ರೈಟ್ all short forms. Okay, so you have to write in the most shortest form. Don't write everything full form. You should know how to write. It's your own notes. ನಿಮಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಸಾಕು. ಇವಾಗಲೇ ಡ್ರೀಮ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ ಅರವಿಂದ್ ಬುಕ್ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಂದು ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗೋ ತರ ಬರೀಬೇಕು. ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ ಪಂಚವರ್ಷೀಯ ಯೋಜನಾ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಾಡೋಂಗಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Right? If you going like Niti Aayog for 1 year targets, then don't do all those. Right? So make it the most shortest form for your what you call synopsis. So what else was there before? Yeah, static I told, synopsis I told, value I told, current affairs I told. Yeah. Now what else was there? Did I give you again the targets? अरे तुम बताओ यार, मुंह खोल के बताओ. Dates I'll forget of. Yeah, so this is the date we're talking. I think by now you are done your sectional. Is it done or no? Agilla andre maximum this is the last cycle. No, this is not March. Yaar ye March tha. This is your April. This is also April. So maximum time sectional ge March month al mugibeku. Beyond that you have to do only your full length, right? So sectional ಎಷ್ಟಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡಿ. ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. 35 34 ಆಯ್ತು 1 ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಏನೂ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಸೆಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಯು ಫಿನಿಶ್ ಇಟ್. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಐಡಿಯಲಿ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಫಿನಿಶ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಪೇಪರ್ಸ್, ಬಟ್ ಇಫ್ ನಾಟ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೂ ಇಟ್. ದೀಸ್ ಟು ಇಸ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ವಾಟ್? ಫಾರ್ ಯೋರ್ ಫುಲ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ 5 every particular place you are going to, wherever you are going to give your test series, ಪ್ರತಿ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ 5 ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಪೇಪರ್ಸ್ ನ ತಗೊಂಡು ಮಾಡಿ. ಒಂದೇ ಕಡೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡೋರ್ದು ಒಂದು ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನೇ ಪೇಪರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾವೆ ಇದೇ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಡೂ ದಟ್. ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ಚರ್ ಆಫ್ 7 to 8 places so that you can do it. So let us say here you are giving 20 sectionals maximum. So roughly how many sectionals you can give? 30 to 35, out of which roughly around 25 will be your GS, 8 to 10 will be your CSAT. And you remember Sundays I told you you can take up, not a Sundays exactly, but every 10 days or Sundays. So ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, yes you have a holiday, ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ, 9 ಗಂಟೆಯಿಂದ 9:30 11:30ವರೆಗೂ GS ಬರ್ದ್ಬಿಡಿ, ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ 2:30 4:30ವರೆಗೂ CSAT ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಬಿಡಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಬ್ರೇಕ್. Okay, obviously do analysis in between, right? So do the analysis and you solve your paper. So roughly around 6 hours will go. You have another 6 hours to enjoy. ಬಟ್ಟೆ ಒಗಿರಿ, ಡೇಟ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ, ಮೂವಿ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಮೂವಿ ನೋಡಿ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಮಾಡಿ 6 ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ, ಓನ್ಲಿ ಆನ್ ದಟ್ ಡೇ. So usually you can keep it your Sunday like that, because most of the time, I hope you are aware, this is the season where free open mock test will start, right? So, and most of the time Sundays will be there. So I hope you are aware. ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನೇ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ओपन मॉक टेस्ट, यू नो राइट, नाउ इज द सीजन. यो हमारा यूपीएससी एक साल में ना एक एक सीजन होता है. ड्राई सीजन, यू नो विंटर सीजन, स्प्रिंग सीजन, यू नो एनर्जी सीजन, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಓದೋ ಸೀಸನ್, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಸೀಸನ್. ಆಲ್ ದಿ ಸೀಸನ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಸೀಸನ್ ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ಹೈ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಸೀಸನ್. ಇರೋ ಬರೋ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬಿತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಓದ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಲೈಬ್ರರೀಸ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಎವ್ರಿ ಸಂಡೇ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದರ್. Go physically and write. Don't attend online test. Yeah, online test is not that useful, because your actual exam is your offline. ಅದು ಒಂದ್ ವೇಳೆ ನಾವು ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಅಂಡ್ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ there is a way of solving the paper. ಅದು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಅನ್ಕೋಬಹುದು, ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ನೋ ಯೂಸ್. ಟ್ರಸ್ಟ್ ಮಿ, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ನೋ ಯೂಸ್. Just do your physical. Whenever I am telling sectional full length, always take a printout in a physical format, have a OMR and solve it, right? So yeah, full length. And the last months is there, right? 10 to 23rd May. Make sure you solve your 2014 to 2024 GS and CSAT. Make sure you solve it, all the papers. And here also there is an order. Don't like randomly solve off, right? So if you, let us say in the starting day you are solving your 2014, you can do your 15, 16, 17, then directly come to 23, 22. You know, then maybe you can do your what do you call ಯಾವ್ದು ಮಿಸ್ ಆಯ್ತು, 18, 19. You can do your 20 in the last, because it was little easy. 20 is there. You can do your 21. ಯಾವ್ದು ಪೇಪರ್ ಮಿಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ? 24. So make in this order. Don't solve this in the end. ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಟ್ರಾಮಾ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಡೇ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ದಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್, ಇದ್ರ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಸವಾಸನೆ ಬೇಡ, ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ, ಬಿಟ್ಟೋಗ್ಬಿಡೋಣ. Because 2023 was a traumatized paper. It was the most difficult paper, right? So ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಜನ ನನ್ನ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ who attempted the exact, actual exam in 2023. They either quit the preparation or they are like next year 24 ಅಲ್ಲ, they skip 24 attempt, 25 ಹಾಕೋಣ ಅಂತ. Because obviously वो trauma देने वाला paper था. And not just you people, even the people who are faculties were there, people who are had access to books, mobile phones, internet, they themselves are not able to solve it in 7-8 hours. So obviously तुम्हारा 2 घंटे में तो बहुत मुश्किल था, right? So just have a taste of it. ಇದೇ ತರ ಬರ್ತಂತ ಅನ್ನೋಕೋಬೇಡ, ಅಂತ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ನಿಮ್ ಲಕ್ ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಟಫ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಅದೇನು ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ ಲಕ್ ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಮಿ ಈ ತರ ಪೇಪರ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ, ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 1 or 2 years, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೈಟ್ ಕಮ್ 2028. ಯಾರು ಪಂಚವರ್ಷಿ ಯೋಜನಾ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮ್ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ಬೋದು. ಬಟ್ ಅದರ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಯರ್ ಆರ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್, ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್. 2024 was a cakewalk, right? It was a simple paper. ಅದೇ ತರ you can expect a paper. All the 2026 people questions ನೋಡಿ PYQ ತೆಗೆದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೆಂಗ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ನೀವೇನಕ್ಕೆ ಇವಾಗ ಎಷ್ಟು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಬುಕ್ ಸರ್ ಅದು ಅಂತ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಇನ್ನ PYQs ನೋಡಿಲ್ಲ. You not seen your PYQs, that's why you feel that your whatever reading the source is the most important book. Otherwise you will understand what is more important. So you can follow this order. And CSAT also 2024 you can do it in the last, because it was relatively easy. 2023 and 22 ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಹಾಕಿ, that is somewhere in mid. You can do your 2021, 2020, 2019, do your 2018 for little bit of confidence, right? 2017 ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. And before that obviously anything else above is, make sure you do this in between. ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದು ಕೊನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ CSAT ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ನು GS ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬ್ರೇಕ್, ರೈಟ್? ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಟು 3 ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಮೈ ಡೈಲಾಗ್ ಏನಾ, ಟು ಮೇಕ್ ಯುವರ್ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಲಿಟಲ್, ಟು ಮೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಸ್ಟುಪಿಡ್, so that you don't get scared. And remember, prelims exam is more about your calmness, it's more about your nerves in your hand, it's more about common sense. And a person who has common sense, a person who is calm enough, he clears prelims. Not a knowledgeable person. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? Not a knowledgeable person. There are 2 type of aspirants who ವರ್ಷ ಪೂರ್ತಿ they do hard work, year long they do hard work, they have done 5 times revision, they have done 5 times everything, notes ready ಇದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ರೆಡಿ ಇದೆ. The last 3-4 days before the exam they are going to spoil it, and they on the exam day ದಬ ಹಾಕೋತಾರೆ. And then there are some people who have done 75% preparation, right? 75% preparation year long they have done, but on the exam day they know how to handle themselves. Emotions ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ anxiety ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, their panic attacks ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಏನೇ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, they know how to handle it. So they eventually clear the exam. Prelims is about it. It's not about knowledge, it's not about it, and it's a gamble part ಹೋಗಿ because you are attempting. It's a probable questions ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. 80 questions I told you, right? You are putting a probability over there. So little bit of luck is also important. So in these 70 days, don't have any negative emotions. Okay, don't be excessively angry on anyone. Don't be excessively sad. Don't be excessively. It will happen. All your negative emotions in your Navrasa, ಈ 70 days alle highest peak ಹೋಗೋದು. In your graph, no, of negative emotions. ಇದೇ time ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗೋದು. The next 70 days. And this thing will be there on 25th May. ಬರ್ತಕ್ಷ ಪಟ್ಟಂದು ಬೀಳುತ್ತೆ ಅದು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇನೆ. But till here so you will tend to see you will get angry easily. You get frustrated easily, you will get sad easily, you will get feared easily. You might, become what do you call, one more thing is your lust, right? So obviously you will become too much of lustful also, whatever it is. Highest it will happen this time. Because stress is there, right? One or the other way it has to come out. I hope you know the basic law of physics. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It just changes from one form to another. Same way, energy will keep on changing. So make sure that it's okay. Tell yourself it's okay. ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಜಗಳ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ ಬಾಯ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಗರ್ಲ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಜೊತೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಏನ್ ಸರ್ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಸರ್? ಟೈಮ್ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಟೈಮ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಯಾಕಂತೀರಾ ಅನ್ಯಾಗೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಸಮ್ ಪೀಪಲ್, ಆರ್ ಬಾಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದೇರ್. ಏನ್ ವಿಷ್ಣು, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ? So there are some 3-4 macho mans and all, but apart from them obviously अभी नहीं मिला इसीलिए you are telling all this. So anyway, what was I telling? So you will have all this energy burst and all. That's why I tell walk, spend that energy through physically. So that negative quota if it finished, you can prepare well. Are you understanding? So yeah, sleep well, you can do all those. That is more than enough. So what else you want to, I told you about PYQ also. Yeah, I was discussing yaar. मुझे याद दिला, I have to complete this. So you can do your last 10 days these FLT sectional like this. And I have given you static ಹೆಂಗ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, your value ಹೆಂಗ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. Now coming to some of the basics, how do you keep a track of your things, right? So you can have a table, right? You have obviously always maintain a diary or a strategy book and all. So have a table, subjects name, or write down X, Y, Z, A, B, C, write down all the subjects name. Make it, let us say static ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3. As and when you finish, ಏನಾದ್ರು Y ಮುಗಿಸ್ತಿದ್ರೆ Y ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಡಿ, A ಅಂದ್ರೆ A ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಡಿ. You take. ಮೂಡ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕಷ್ಟ ಇದೆ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ don't move to the second cycle without completing this. Always complete the entire cycle, right? And obviously common sense, there is no leaving any subject. Obviously don't. Right? If at all you are leaving the subject, you have to leave that attempt. Simple as that. You cannot leave any subject, you cannot leave any topic. You have to do everything. And topic ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ವೀಕ್ನೆಸ್ ಅಂತ. ನಾಟ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನೀವೇ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಡಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ಇದೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಮರ್ತೋಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ವೀಕ್ನೆಸ್ ಇಂಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಡೂ ಆಲ್ ದೋಸ್. ಸೊ ಟಿಕ್ ಆಲ್ ದೋಸ್. ವೆನ್ ಯು ಮೂವ್ ಟು ದ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸೈಕಲ್ ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಟಿಕ್. ಸೇಮ್ ಇದು ಸ್ಟಾಟಿಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೂ ಇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯೋರ್ PTs also, and in PT cycle obviously 5 cycles minimum ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So keep on marking value addition, short notes, your synopsis, ಇದನ್ನು ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಟಿಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ. ಒಂದು ಟ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ ಇರಬೇಕು, ರೈಟ್? ಅಂಡ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಟಜಿ ಬುಕ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಅ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಟೇಬಲ್. ಇದು ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಮಾಡೋದು on Saturday I will tell you. So this will consume a lot of pages in your strategy book obviously. So I'll discuss this anyway later. And coming to your what else you have to keep a track is obviously keep one source only. Don't become expert and all. ಇರೋ ಒಂದು ನೆಟ್ಟಿಗಿರೋ ಒಂದು ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಅನೇ ಜನ ಕಷ್ಟ ಪಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಕ್ಕೆ. Don't be too much confident about yourself being 3 sources, 4 sources and all, not required. One source per subject, that's it, right? So what was I telling before? Yeah, so analysis, I'll tell you. One more thing what you can do in your strategy book is keep a track of your which days you're studying the most. Pratidina, what you can do is, let us say you write 12th March. Number of hours. Your target is how many hours? 10 hours. How many hours you studied? Let us say in a day you studied 9 hours. 11 hour ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, 11 hour ಬರೀರಿ. It's fine. How many you wasted? maybe 1 hour, half an hour. Write the reason also. And we are mentioning the date, mention Wednesday. Mention the reason. Right? Write that reason ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತ. After you have done for 20 days, no, you'll realize there are some days in a week, always your energy is down. There are some days in a week, ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ರೀಸನ್ ಇಂದಾನೆ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಆ ದಿನಗಳು ಹೋದಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. And there are some days which are your best productive days. So know your days. ಆ ದಿನ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸ್ಪಾಯ್ಲ್ ಯೋರ್ ಡೇ. ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ರು ಬಂದು ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಬಂದ್ರು, ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಬಂತು, ಆ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಲೈಕ್ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸೇ ಥರ್ಸ್ಡೇ ಇಸ್ ಯೋರ್ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಡೇ ಅಂಡ್ ಇಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಕಮ್, obviously don't waste that day, because ನಿಮ್ದು ಬಾಡಿ ಸೈಕಲ್ ಏನಿದೆ, ನಿಮ್ದು ಏನಿದೆ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬಾಡಿ, that is reacting the highest productive on that day. So why you want to waste it, right? Whenever days you will see either some Friday no Saturday no one dina irutte where your productivity is less. So plan all your phone calls, meeting friends and all on that day, because anyway you are not studying. Do something about it, right? You can do that. So obviously ಒಂದು average number of hours ಬೇಕು. 2 hour ಗಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ I think you are doing your पंचवर्षीय योजना. So many messages, calls comes on like what is this यार इतना क्यों हो रहा है? Yeah, so what was I telling? What was I telling? ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರಿ? Yeah, so productive. So if at all you are wasting every day 2 hours, that means that पंचवर्षीय योजना हो रहा है. So if at all obviously you are studying more than the required, you are on a good track. 98-99% you have to meet your targets. If at all you are not meeting the targets, that means you are not doing justice for your preparation. You martane illa justice for the preparation. And obviously 10 hours is like a minimum thing. उससे ज़्यादा कितना भी पढ़ लो. If you have capacity read for 14 hours, 15 hours, no one is stopping. Provided you finish the targets. Finishing targets is more important rather than reading number of hours. Number of hours is not important. You know when is the ನಿಮ್ದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಟ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, when is the best preparation ಅಂದ್ರೆ I'll tell you when how is that day will be. You know, you start your day fresh, you keep on meeting the targets. ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತೀರಾ, ವೀಕ್ಲಿ ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಡೈಲಿ ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಮಾಡಿ ಟಿಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಿರ್ತೀರಾ, and you feel very confident that you are finishing the targets and all. ರಾತ್ರಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಫುಲ್ ಸುಸ್ತಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಬಾಡಿ, brain will be exhausted. You like you don't even know. I remember in my ಹೈದರಾಬಾದ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ my PG was in the 3rd floor. ಕಲ್ಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಹೋಗೋಷ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ I used to be like one step ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೂ I used to feel like I want to fall, and as soon as to reach my room, keep the bag, sleep off. ಇದೇ ಬರ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ that I have to put an alarm or anything. You just sleep off, and immediately because you have maintained it, your what do you call sleep cycle, automatically you get up at 5 o'clock. You don't need an alarm and all, right? Because your dreams are awaking you, not an alarm or electronic device and all. Your dreams have to awaken you. So if this is how your preparation is, that means you are on the right track. You are a very serious aspirant. ಓದ್ಬೇಕಪ್ಪ, ನಾಳೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಲಾರಾಮ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕಪ್ಪ, ಎದೋಳ್ಬೇಕು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದೇ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದೇ ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ಸ್, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದೇ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅನಿಸ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಯು ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ದಟ್ ಮಚ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಇಟ್. ಮೇ ಬಿ ಯು ಆರ್ ಫೋರ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಟೈಮ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಮೂಡ್ ಇಲ್ದಿರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, ಇಮೋಷನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ದಿರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ. ಎವ್ರಿ ಡೇ ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಡನ್, ರೈಟ್? 10 ದಿನ ಮೇ ಬಿ 2 ದಿನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, 3 ದಿನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ನಿಮ್ದು ಇಂಟೈರ್ ಡೇ 7 to 8 days 9 days 10 ದಿನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹಂಗೆ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ವಾಂಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್, ಯು ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಫಿಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಯು ಆರ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ರು ಕಷ್ಟದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರನೋ ಯಾರೋ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ಗೋಸ್ಕರನೋ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಮೋಟಿವೇಶನ್ಗೋಸ್ಕರನೋ ಇರ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಅಂಡ್ ಟ್ರಸ್ಟ್ ಮೀ, there are 2 types of motivation. One is the inner motivation and one is the outside motivation. Outside motivation obviously ನಿಮ್ದು ಟಾಪರ್ಸ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋಸ್ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಫೋಟೋಸ್ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಾ, you see their ಲಬಾಸ್ನ videos, you'll see their marriage videos also. Some people are there. ಮದ್ವೆನೂ ಹಿಂಗೆಲ್ಲ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ಯು ಸಿ ಫಾರ್ ಮೋಟಿವೇಶನ್. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಪೃಥ್ವಿ ಸಾಂಗ್ ಹಾಕೋತೀರಾ, ಪೃಥ್ವಿ ಮೂವಿ ಹಾಕೋತೀರಾ, ಹಾಕೋತಿರಲ್ಲ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ. ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಯು ಸಿ ಯುವರ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಕಾಲ್ ಉಗ್ರಂ ಸಾಂಗು, ಹಿಂದಿ ಸಾಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಜು ಮೂವಿ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಲಕ್ಷ್ಯ ಹೇ ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ರೆಡಿ ಆಗ್ತೀರಾ. ಅರ್ಧ ಗಂಟೆ ಟುಸ್ಪಟ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಮೋಟಿವೇಶನ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಅರ್ಧ ಗಂಟೆ ಯು ವೇಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಮೋಟಿವೇಶನ್. ಇನ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ half an hour it went off. How can the motivation go off in half an hour? Because you are depending on external motivation, right? So always have an internal motivation, because this inner motivation is the one which is actually going to push you, right? Are you understanding? One is you have to put energy from outside. One more is energy is coming from inside, because of which work is happening. There are 2 type of energies. ನೀವೇನಾದ್ರು ಫೋರ್ಸ್ಫುಲಿ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರತಿದಿನಾನು, that means you are not fit enough and you are not what do you call not interested enough in this exam. Just because of forcefully you are sitting here. ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲೂ ಇನ್ನ ಮೋಟಿವೇಶನ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. Like maybe 70% of the times it will be there. 30% you may need external. Not every time you need external, right? So ಏನಾದ್ರು ಇವಾಗ 15 ದಿನಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ಓದ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ you will study everything. One day that dip will come. ನಾನು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಯಾಕೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಪಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬೇರೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಿಮ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಫೀಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ದಾಗ obviously you feel like ಕ್ಯಾ ಕರೋ ಯಾರ್ ಕ್ಯೂ ಕರೋ ಯೇ ಸಬ್. ಅವತ್ತು ದಿನ ಬೇರೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ then you need a external motivation, then you can start the next 15 days. ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ you need a motivation, means you can think how it is going, why it is going, right? So obviously that is not the way. That is what is the difference between a serious aspirant and a non-serious aspirant and all, right? So know your reason why are you doing here. Write it in a diary every time. Read the diary whenever you feel low. No, you have to write letters 2 times to you yourself. ಒಂದು ಫುಲ್ ಹೈ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಇರ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅದು ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀರಿ. ಹೌ ಐ ಸಿ ಮೈ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್, ಅದು ನಾನು ಹೆಂಗ್ ಕಾಣ್ತೀನಿ, ಹೆಂಗ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಹೆಂಗ್ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ, ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಲೆಟರ್ ಬರ್ತೀರಿ. ವೆನೆವರ್ ಯು ಫೀಲ್ ಸ್ಯಾಡ್, ಯು ರೀಡ್ ದಟ್ ಲೆಟರ್. ಅಂಡ್ ವೆನೆವರ್ ಯು ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಯಾಡ್, ನೋ, ಟೆಲ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಓಕೆ, ಯು ಹವ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿಡ್ ಫಾರ್ 15 days 16 days, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಡಿಪ್ ಟೈಮ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಓಕೆ, ಯು ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಎನರ್ಜಿ. ಕನ್ವಿನ್ಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಕನ್ವಿನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದ್ ಸಿಕ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹುಡುಗರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ನೀವು, ಬಟ್ ದ ಮೊಮೆಂಟ್ ಎನಿ ಆಫ್ ದ ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬೇಜಾರಾಗ್ತಿದೆ, ಏನಾಯ್ತು, ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ, ಹೇಳು ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರು ದಟ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ ನೀನು ಓದ್ಕೋ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕೆ ನನ್ನಿಂದ ಟೈಮ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್, ಹೇಳು. 4 hour 5 hour ಇವ್ ಕನ್ಸೋಲ್ ಇವ್ ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಗರ್ಲ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಅದೇ ಹುಡುಗ ಏನಾದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗಲ್ಲ ಮಚ್ಚ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಹಂಗೇನೆ, ಒಂದ್ ದಮ್ಮಡಿ ಒಂದು ಹಾಕು ಎಲ್ಲ ಸರಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದೇ ತಾನೇ ಹೇಳೋದು ನೀವು, ರೈಟ್? So the same way you console yourself for 15 minutes. However you want to tell, think a female friend is there in the letter, write like that only. Don't write for yourself and all. ನಿಮ್ಮಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಏನೋ ಲೆಟರ್ ಬರ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 2 word ಬರಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. Tell it is like for a female friend, write a letter, convince yourself, and obviously you will be fine. If you write a letter yourself, you are expressing it, it will be fine. If you have the habit of writing diary and all for your negative emotions, maintain it. You see, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, because I know how the preparation is, especially when it is near the exam. I know what kind of emotions you people pass. ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಏನೋ ಅದ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಓದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ನ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆರ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್, ಯು ನೋ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಬೌಟ್, ರೈಟ್? ಅಂಡ್ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟೆಲಿಂಗ್, ಆ ಕೇಳಿ ಅವ್ರನ್ನಲ್ಲ, ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಅದೇ ಆಗ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಐ ಆಮ್ ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಇಟ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ you have a diary to maintain, you can write it in the end. 10 minutes you spend on a diary, you can maintain it. And obviously I have told you about your reading any motivational books, right? Alchemist is there, Monk Soldis Ferrari is there, which will give motivation. External motivation irbodu, but before you sleep, if you're doing, you're not wasting time. And subconsciously in the night also you're relaxed, and that will give you more energy for the next morning, right? So now coming to your I think we have done, right? I've told you about the cycle, I've told you about 75 days. Anything is remaining here, only the paper solving is remaining, right? I purposely kept it in the last. So now it's a very important part. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ ಇಲ್ಲೋ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. People who have started solving mocks, for you will understand what I'm talking about, online or offline, whoever it is, and you have to listen carefully. I'll go little slowly only. One is, see, you have roughly around 2 hours for solving the paper. Make sure you solve the paper in 1 hour 45 minutes only. So the first thing is, all the 100 questions, when as soon as you see, you can start from any question, 8 till madi, 50 till madi, 100 madi, it depends upon you. You ask me this thing after I tell you the entire thing, why that number is important and all, ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಅದು ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ, I'll tell you that time. So first 100 questions, solve read 100 questions in your first reading. This is your first reading. All the 100 questions you have to read. ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ್ದು ಗೊತ್ತು, ಪಕ್ಕಾ ಗೊತ್ತು, ಓದಿನ ಮಚ್ಚ ನಿನ್ಗೇನ್ ಗೊತ್ತು, ನೀವು ಪಿ ಜಿಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಕೆಲಸ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಕೋಬೇಡಿ, ಪಕ್ಕಾ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ 100%. ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯು ಬೆಟರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಆನ್ ದಟ್? ಓನ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ಮಾತ್ರ you mark. Okay, you mark it on the paper. And whenever you are reading I'll show you some of the questions. ಇವಾಗ ನಂತರ ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ I'll show you the PYQs. ಹೆಂಗ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ I will show you. ನೀವು ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಆಗಂತೂ ಇಕ್ಕಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ, obviously, right? Should not make it a plain paper. You have to write a lot, you have to work on the paper. I'll show you how to do it later. So in the first reading, along with marking, along with everything, see all the 100 questions. Whichever you are 100% correct, mark them on your paper only. Don't mark on AMR. OMR ka kaam aayega bhi. So you have to mark it on the paper only, right? There will be some very random questions. ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ನೀವು ಲೈಫಲ್ಲೇ ಕೇಳಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್. ನೀವು ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸಿ, ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಕಾಮನ್ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಲಾಜಿಕ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ನೋಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾದ್ರು ನೀವು ದಬಾಕೋದಿರ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್ ದೋಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್. ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಒಂದು ಏನಾದ್ರು ನಂಬರ್ 15 ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸರ್ಕಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡಿ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಅನ್ ಇಂಡಿಕೇಶನ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ರೀಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅಗೇನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇನ್ ಯೋರ್ ವಾಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಮೇ ಬಿ ದೇರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ 1 or 2 questions. ಹಾಗಂತ 20 ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ. Obviously it's common sense, right? 20 question ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರೆ you're eliminated from the paper only. Maximum 1, 2, 3 maximum will be there. So encircle them so that you will not come back to them. And when you're reading only, ಓದಬೇಕಾದ್ರೇನೆ eliminate the options. ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನೋಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾದ ಆ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವ್ದಕ್ಕೂ ಸಂಬಂಧನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಗೆ. Eliminate that option. Either let us say A, B, C, D is there. Eliminate this, or you can completely scratch it so that you don't have to read it. First reading alli you are reducing the number of words for the next reading. Are you understanding? Options first eliminate ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ವರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಎನ್ಸರ್ಕಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಅದು ಮಾತ್ರ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ರೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಅಂಡ್ ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಯು ಆರ್ ಮಾರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ದೋಸ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ 100% ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್. ಇದೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಇಫ್ ಅಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟೆಡ್ 2 options, then you are left with 2 options. That one what I used to do is, you need not follow, you can do whatever you have to do. ಎರಡು ಈ ತರ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ರೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ ದೀಸ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಕಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಓವರ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ? 2 options ಮಾತ್ರ ಯು ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಬಿಗರ್ ಬ್ರಾಕೆಟ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸಮ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೂ ಲೈಕ್ 2 options are remaining ಅಂತ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನನಗೇನಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ನಂಬರ್ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಡೇಟಾ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ರೈಟ್ ಆಲ್ ದೋಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಐ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಅ ಬಿಗರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಇಫ್ ಅಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಯು ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟೆಡ್ only 1 option, that means 3 options are remaining, right? So are you understanding how the questions have to be marked? One is 100% correct, you have marked. One is 2 options are remaining. Third is 3 options are remaining. Fourth is ಏನೇನು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. There will be some of the questions where you can guess. Don't encircle them. See, they're like this. They're roughly around 10 to 12 questions will be there where you don't know anything. Obviously you should not encircle everything, right? Only some 2 or 3 questions ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಟಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್, ಬ್ಯಾಟಲ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಂಡಿವಾಶ್ ಇಸ್ ಈಸಿ. ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಏನ್ಷಿಯಂಟ್ ಮೆಡೈವಲ್ ಇಂದ ಬ್ಯಾಟಲ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ಅದು ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಷಿಯನ್ ಉರ್ದು ವರ್ಡ್ ಇದೆ, ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ ವರ್ಡ್ ಇದೆ, ಅದು ಯಾವ್ದೋ ಒಂದು ಬುಕ್ ಹೆಸರು ಇದೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರೋದು ಋಷಿಗಳಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದು ಆಥರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ನೀವು ಯಾವ್ದು ಕೇಳಿಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರ ಲೈಫಲ್ಲೇ ಕೇಳಿಲ್ಲ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಕಾಮನ್ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ದೇರ್. ಯು ನೋ otherwise you don't know. Simple as that. You cannot attempt those questions. Are you understanding? So anta questions na encircle ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. But there will be some options like basic environment options will be there. Common sense use ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. Don't touch upon them. We'll touch upon them later. So first reading alli you have touched upon all the 100 questions. In your second reading, so this you are spending roughly around how much time? In your first reading, ideally you can spend 50 minutes. You start ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ I give 1 hour, not more than that. 50 minutes is more than enough to read all the 100 questions. And usually people ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ they get stuck in a question. Don't get stuck in the question. ಓದಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ, ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ, ಪಟ್ ಅಂತ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಇದಿರ್ಬೋದಾ ಅದಿರ್ಬೋದಾ, 2 minutes 3 minutes 5 minutes you are doing, that means you want to lose the paper. ಓದ್ ತಕ್ಷಣ maximum 30 seconds. ಓದ್ ತಕ್ಷಣ move to the next one. Thinking and all will do later, not in the first reading. Are you understanding? ಥಿಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡೋದಲ್ಲ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಇವಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ದ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ರೀಡಿಂಗ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಇಸ್, ಯು ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ 2 doubts was there, 2 options were remaining. You remember them? Attempt only those questions. Only those questions you attempt. There is 50% of the chance is there that you are going to get it correct. First reading ಅಲ್ಲಿ whichever you mark 100% you have a probability. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 50% chance ಇದೆ, correct or wrong, or 50% chance is there. So these type of questions, how much time you are going to spend? Let us say roughly around 20 minutes. Okay, then there will be third reading. You remember those things you marked where one options was eliminated. Anta questions ಮಾತ್ರ ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅಂತ questions ಮಾತ್ರ ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್. Don't read again and again. ನಾನು ಇದನ್ನ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಸರಿನೋ ಇಲ್ಲೋ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡೋಣ. ಡೋಂಟ್ ಡೂ ಆಲ್ ದಿ ಸ್ಟುಪಿಡಿಟಿ. If you have already marked, if you have already done 2 doubts, don't go back over there. Whichever you have eliminated one option, directly come there. Are you understanding? Direct ಆಗಿ ಬಂದು ಅದು ಮಾತ್ರ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿ. So this is the area where your maximum time is going to spend, right? So let us say 20 minutes will ಬೇಡ, let us say you spend around 15 minutes. So here roughly the three options wala, roughly around you spent around let us say 25 minutes, because many questions will be here, right? Last round alli you are spending those questions, you are not even eliminated. Common sense use ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಸ್ ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅಂಡ್ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅದು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಬರ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಬರೀ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ನೋಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ನಿಮ್ ಹೊರಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಿದೆ, ಇದಿರಬಹುದು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಅಂತ. ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಂಕ್ಟ್, ರೈಟ್? ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಂಕ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಟೆಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಯು. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ರೌಂಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಫಾರ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಂಕ್ಟ್, ಅಂಡ್ ಆ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಂಕ್ಟ್ ಗೆ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಇಸ್ 10 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes. So this is for instinct round. So roughly around in the first reading, if at all you are really well prepared, ಅಂತದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾತ್ರ. ಓಕೆ, ಸಣ್ಣ ಪುಟ್ಟ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನೋ ಅದು ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಅಂಡ್ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಲೈಕ್ 2023, ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಅಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಐಡಿಯಲಿ 10ರಿಂದ 15 ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ರೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. Second reading ಅಲ್ಲಿ 2 doubts will be there. This is the if at all you are again well prepared. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ for serious aspirants. It's not for mixture of aspirants, weak aspirants ಅಲ್ಲ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ. Whatever I'm going to tell in the next 8 classes, right? So in the second round, roughly around there will be around 30 questions. Ideally 25 to 35 questions. So ideally I'm taking 30 questions. So how many questions remaining? 45 is done. Remaining is these. One you have let us say not attempted questions. Let us say 4 to 5 is not attempted. So and instinct base, how much? Let us say maximum 5, maximum 8, not more than that. ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಯಾವ್ದು ಏನೋ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಂಕ್ಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸೇ roughly around 8 to 10 questions is for your instinct round. Are you understanding? Then the remaining questions you only calculate 10, 15, 30, 60, 40 questions will go for your third option. So you have 33% chance it is correct. Okay, 33% chance it is correct. Now your target is, out of obviously in the first reading 15 question correct ಆಗಲೇಬೇಕು, ಬಟ್ ಯೂಶುವಲಿ ಅದು ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಮಿಸ್ ಹೊಡೆದಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಅದು ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗಿ ನೀವು ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸೇ 10 questions you got. Out of 30, see this is the area where 50% chance is that you're going to make it correct. So at least you should get 20 here. And out of 40, again the probability reduces, 20 questions. And now coming to your instinct wala questions also is there, right? So another 5 to 6 questions. So roughly around out of 90 questions you are attempting, 55 you got correct. And roughly how much you got? Ideally it should be 60, okay? 55 to 60. And roughly how much wrong you got? 30 to 35. So if you get 60, 30 correct, 120 minus 20, 100 marks. 55 correct is 110 minus 24, roughly around 87 marks. So your range will be 87 to 100. This is expected. 60, 30, 10 is expected from you. If you can do 65, 30 and 10, again very good. Anything above 60, always you have a very high chance you're going to clear the exam. Anything above 60. 50 to 60 if you're getting correct, you are on the borderline. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಲಕ್ ಸರಿ ಇರಬೇಕು ಟು ಬಿ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್. 50ಗಿಂತ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ until unless the paper is very very tough for everyone, not for you obviously. For everyone it is a tough paper. Until unless that, there is the only possibility when 45 to 50 ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. 45 ಗಿಂತ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ there is obviously there is no chance of you clearing, because ಅಷ್ಟಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ ಕಟ್ ಆಫ್. 45 ಅಂದ್ರೆ 90 marks, 90 minus 45 is 90 minus 30, 60 marks ಅಲ್ಲಿ until unless you have any category or anything and the paper is very tough, usually you will not clear the exam. Whatever I tell is only for the general candidate, so you just adjust according to whatever it is, right? So according to the general category only I'll be telling. So this is what is expected. Now coming to your roughly I told you how much correct, how these questions ಇರಬೇಕು, and time also I gave you. This is how you have to do. 4 cycles ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಈ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಂಕ್ಟ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, this is a tricky area. ಇವಾಗ ನೀವು ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸೇ 6 questions 4 ಸರಿ ಬಂತು, 2 ತಪ್ಪು ಬಂತು, that means your instinct is good. One paper ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ it is doesn't mean your instinct is always correct. You have to test it upon 10 papers. 10 ಪೇಪರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ more than 50% if your instinct is working, 3 works, 4 works, 5 obviously works, 6 obviously works, 2 4 is acceptable, not desired. Okay, 3 is acceptable. 1 5 is a very bad instinct because obviously you want to get negative. Net 0 net to negative ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಲ್ಲ, so obviously it's not expected. 0 6 ಬರ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡದೇ ಇರೋದೇ ಒಳ್ಳೇದು. Out of 10 papers, 2 papers, 3 papers, you should not judge and tell you have a bad instinct, or you should not judge it's a very good instinct. It depends upon 10 papers ka data. 10 ಐವತ್ತು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರೆ you have enough data, right? Based on that you decide. Know about yourself. It's okay if you have a bad instinct, it's okay if you have a good instinct. No one is going to judge you. Only ಇದೆಲ್ಲ information ನಿಮಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. So instinct and all those questions will be there. If at all you have a bad instinct, don't even attempt. ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಹಾಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ no it can be the answer ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಬರ್ತಿದೆ ಅನಿಸ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, don't attempt because you have a very bad instinct. But if at all there will be situations ಖಾಲಿ ಇದೆ ಏನೋ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, but your instinct is telling it's correct and you have a track record that your instinct was positive, so that time obviously ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅನ್ಸಿದ್ರು just attempt. ಏನು ಆಗಲ್ಲ, your instinct will be good. Obviously it's all conditions apply, luck should favor you. Conditions apply hai isme, right? So that is with respect to your ಏನಂತಾರೆ timing about all this. And one more thing I had to tell you. Yeah, now coming to the number of questions, starting ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ you will feel everything is difficult. So starting you start with 75-80 questions minimum, but for an ideal person, I will tell you always attempt more than 85 questions, because the paper has becoming randomized year on year, attempt every year it's becoming more and more randomized. When more and more randomized it is, there is no possibility you will get 100% correct. There was a time before where people used to attempt only 60 questions. Okay. ಹೋಗಿದ್ಯಾ? Am I audible now? Am I audible now?
Sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so what is the last thing which you heard? What is the last thing which you heard?
85 questions, sir.
हाँ यार, I stopped there only यार, उतना ही बोला था मैंने. So you have to attempt minimum 85 questions. That is the minimum number. According to our statistics done by someone, it's not my data. According to our statistics done, people who attempted more than 85 questions, they had a higher rate of clearing the prelims exam. Okay. So obviously 85 and 100 ಯಾವಾಗ ಎಷ್ಟಾದ್ರೂ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. You have to decide how many questions you're going to attempt based on the exam. If it's a very tough paper, then maybe 85 to 90 questions is a good number. If it's a very easy paper, there is no harm in attempting more than 95 questions also. Guts ಇದೆ, ತುಂಬಾ ಓವರ್ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, 100 questions ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ರೈಟ್? ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಇದಿಲ್ಲ. So usually you have your cricketers and all having one number, right? 18 7. Why means because they feel that number is lucky. So ಇದೇ ತರ ಕೆಲವರಿಗೆ they decide one number, ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಪ್ರತಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತ. So that number can be anything, 92 95 98 100, anything can that number. So you have to check your number. ನಿಮ್ ಲಕ್ಕಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಲಕ್ಕಿ ಅನ್ಸೋದು ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸೇ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು 98 ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅನ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀರಾ, 95 is your lucky number. And this lucky number ನಿಮ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ನಿಮಗೆ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ಬೇಕು ಆಮೇಲೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಲಕ್ಕಿ ನಂಬರ್ ಇದೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಮಾತ್ರ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಬರ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕು. So usually I have a personal experience. Whenever I have attempted, I will not tell you that XYZ number, XY number. Okay. ಆ ನಂಬರ್ಗಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ನಮ್ಗೆ ನೋ ಐ ಮೇಡ್ ಮೋರ್ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ಸ್, ಅದರಿಂದ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಬಂದಾಗಲೂ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಆಗ್ಲಿ ಆ ನಂಬರೇ ನಾನು ಯಾವಾಗ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಅದು ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಆಗ್ಲಿ. 92 ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸೇ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ 95 is only, I will not tell my number. ಸೊ 95 ಇದೆ, 92 ಮಾತನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ. ಎಲ್ಲೇ ಎಷ್ಟೇ ತಲೆ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸು, ಕಾಮನ್ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಏನೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ನಂಗೆ ಇನ್ನು 3-4 ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಐ ಡೂ ಇಸ್, ಹೆಂಗೋ ಒಂದ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಕನ್ವಿನ್ಸ್ ಮೈ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್, ಏನೋ ತಲೆ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್ ಟಿಲ್ ದಿಸ್ 95 ನಂಬರ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸೇ ಇಫ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ 98 ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ವರೆಗೂ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ನಂಗೆ ಕೇಪಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇದೆ, ಇನ್ನ 3 ಮಾಡೋಕೆ, ಕಾಮನ್ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್, ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಆನ್ ಟು 95 only. ಅದೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಆಗ್ಲಿ, ಐ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೋ ಬಿಯಾಂಡ್ ಇಟ್. Because obviously cricketers, sports and all, that is why that number works, right? Similarly here also, it works. Okay, so agar tumhe wo belief hai, if at all every paper you are changing the number, you will never get a data. Try ಮಾಡಿ ಯಾವಾಗಾದ್ರೂ 5 papers you solve it in a particular number. If you have a 3 papers ಜಾಸ್ತಿ marks ಬರ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ always stick on to it. Don't unnecessarily experiment in your exam. One more thing which I forgot to tell you when you are doing your first reading, second reading, third reading, fourth reading. So as soon as you are done with your first reading, mark it in the OMR. OMR ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಚೊಂಬ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ OMR ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ. ಸೊ obviously first reading ಆದ ತಕ್ಷಣನೇ make sure you mark it in the OMR. You mark how much? 10 to 15 questions. Hardly it takes how much? 10 seconds to mark on the OMR. Be careful. Don't unnecessarily play with it, because ಎಲ್ಲ ಖಾಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಏನಂತಾರೆ, 1 2 3 4 5 ನಿಮ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಸಿಗೋದು OMRs. ಇದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ತಾನೆ, ಹಂಗಿರಲ್ಲ ರಿಯಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಮಾರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ದೇರ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಅಂಡ್ ರಫ್ಲಿ ಅರೌಂಡ್ 200 ಮಾರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದೇರ್. ಹೋದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನಾನು 100 ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ 200 ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ದಂಗಾಗ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೇಡಿ, ಅರ್ಧ ಗಂಟೆ ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಡಿ. 100 ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬರೋದು, ಬಟ್ 200 only, 200 or 180 it is given to you. And so make sure that you mark your OMR very carefully. Obviously it's common sense. ಏನದಿತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ completely you solve basic things, right? Bigger circle yaar, ye chota circle karta hu main. It should be your obviously entire mark. ಅರ್ಧ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಆಗೋದು, ಅರ್ಧಂಬರ್ಧ ಆಗೋದು ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ obviously ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬರಲ್ಲ. So always 5 to 6 times check your roll numbers. Make sure your OMR ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ you are careful. ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಕೈ ಇಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು 43ನೇ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರ ಅಂತ ಕೈ ಇಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್. ಡೋಂಟ್ ಬಿ ಓವರ್ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆಂಟ್. ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಹೂ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ನೀವೇನಾದ್ರು ಕನ್ನಡ ಬರ್ದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿರೋದು ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಗೋಸ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್ ವಿತ್ ಇಟ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಮೇಕ್ ಶೋರ್ ಯುವರ್ OMR ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ರೌಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಯು ಮಾರ್ಕ್, ಯು ಮಾರ್ಕ್. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ರೌಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನಾಗಿದೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀರಾ ಅದೆಲ್ಲಾನು ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಥರ್ಡ್ ರೌಂಡ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಫೋರ್ತ್ ರೌಂಡ್ ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರತಿ ಒಂದು ಇರೋದೇ 5-6 ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಸೊ ಪ್ರತಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದೊಂದೇ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಮೇಕ್ ಶೋರ್ ಯು ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಯುವರ್ OMR ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಲಿ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಡೋಂಟ್ ಲಿವ್ ಇಟ್ ಟು ದಿ ಎಂಡ್. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಟೈಮ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಹೊಂಟೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಮೇಕ್ ಶೋರ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಮೇಂಟೈನಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ಟೈಮಿಂಗ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸೇ I told 50 minutes. If at all it's extending 1 hour, it's better you quickly wrap up things. That's like an indication. Prati salino you have to see your watch. So 50 minutes is given means roughly 30 seconds per question. So exactly after 20 questions if you are doing, you have to see your watch. 10 minutes agidya anta. If at all 20 minutes agutide andre, that means you are not going to complete the paper. Immediately you have to fasten up. So the time management you have to learn, okay, how to do the time management on the exam paper. It's very much important. So similarly if you have done, let us say 60 questions, ardha gantale mugisbeku. In half an hour only it should be done. Are you understanding? It should not be like something you are doing 60 questions in 60 minutes. That is not how it works. You have to do it in 30 seconds gap only. Obviously, ಇವಾಗ 2 options or 2 options ಇದ್ದಾಗ you have only 2 options and you have to think little bit. 30 seconds, 40 seconds per question. Here another, let us say 60 seconds you are spending, 55-60 seconds you are spending. This you already have 15 minutes. 5 question attempt ಮಾಡಬೇಕು based on instinct. So think, wait for some time, do some dhyana. If at all something strikes, then mark. Instinct based questions. Are you understanding? But make sure OMR you are marking after every round. So this is about your solving of the paper. I told you to remind something, no? Yeah, so coming to the number, now some of you, I hope you are aware, there are 4 ABCD booklets, right? and it's all jumbled papers. And I think if you're at all, obviously in mock papers market may siga mocks alla hangiralla, they jumble everything. But in your actual UPSC 10 questions so subject wise irutte. Okay, 10 questions will be subject wise, 21 to 30 will be on subject only. So you choose a subject whichever you feel you are confident. Let us say modern history, you have a strength, start with modern history. But it's not be like you started with modern history because you were very confident, and out of 10 questions ಯಾವ್ದು ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ what will happen is even my strength I'm not able to do on that, it's going to stress. So don't have that thing. If at all subject was, do that. If at all you are a person, again believing in the numbers, ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು let us say ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಯಾವುದೇ ಪೇಪರ್ ತಗೊಂಡು 60 questions ಇದೆ ನಾನು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಅದು ಲಕ್ಕಿ ನಂಬರ್ ಇಸ್ 96 or 95, you always start with number, go back 20 questions, go back 20 questions. Starting ಅಲ್ಲಿ 10 question ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ you are not able to mark, it's better you open from between, because obviously out of 100 questions every year, out of 100 questions there will be 10 randomized questions. Randomized ನೀವು ಅನ್ಕೋತೀರಾ because ನೀವೆಲ್ಲೂ ಕೇಳಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ, but it's actually 5 to 6 years ka current affairs. Okay, it's a contemporary affairs question, it's not something random, it's actually 5 to 6 ka current affairs. 2019 ಅಲ್ಲಿ 2015 ka paper question had come. If you actually google it out, like type that issue and newspaper, you will find that article in that year, right? So 10 questions iruttade, for you people it is randomized, but it's actually your contemporary affairs. Then comes your roughly around 10 questions will be your purely current affairs based. Okay, purely current affairs based. And then there will be questions which are roughly, let us say 20 will be very easy questions, 10 will be very difficult questions, roughly around 20 questions will be application based. It will be easy, but direct agiralla, analytics irutte, application irutte. So 20 questions will be there. Another, roughly how many questions remaining? 30 questions will be average, not very difficult, not very easy, not very randomized, nothing. You can attempt those questions. So what should be your target for attempting? Obviously you have to attempt your always attempt these, you should never lose these, right? You should never lose these, you should never lose these. This depends upon the person's instinct, depends upon the person's knowledge. This obviously depends upon if you have no 5 years current affairs, and the current affairs strength idyo illa adra mele ee questions depend agutte, right? So but these three things whichever I showed, which is roughly around 70 questions, this too you cannot mess around. 30 questions will be difficult, right? Based on luck also, whether 30 questions will enar correct agutto illo anta. So yeah, this is with respect to your solving of the paper. So anything you want to discuss now? We have roughly around 15-20 minutes now remaining. So you tell me any doubts you have, anything you want to discuss related to this. Analyze heng madodu, how to do analysis I will tell you in the next Saturday session, right? So that itself is a very long thing. So yeah, any doubts online? Arey speak. CSAT paper.
There are 80%.
I thought of discussing when I do CSAT and aptitude only. So I'll do that time only, because you will have when we solve your aptitude and reasoning questions, reading comprehension questions, that time we'll get a better idea. That time only I'll do. Anyway, that is like a part of the process. I'll tell you about the CSAT when we discuss that. Tell me about with respect to GS. Any doubts? ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ನಿಮ್ ಕಡೆ ನೋಡಲ್ಲ ನಾನು, ಏದೋ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಟು ಲುಕ್. ನೋ, any doubts you have with respect to anything, or you want to discuss anything else? Whatever topics I've told in the coming sessions I will tell, that is not an issue. But apart from those sessions and apart from related to today's class, if you have any doubts you ask. Don't ask anything. I'll just give you a quick recap what all we have discussed. Yeah, so we discussed some of the timings, what are some of the do's. Then yeah, we discussed this. I told you in a particular day in how much of revisions you have to do with respect to everything. I have told you about your number of hours remaining, that is 700 hours. We discuss about in a day, if at all you are reading for 10 hours, how you have to divide your paper. What is this? Example of your synopsis. Then I discussed about subject wise how many number of hours you have to give. So I'll discuss, in the coming sessions how to finish your polity. 20 hours also is not required, 15 is enough. So I'll tell you how to do it chapter wise. I will tell you one approach. Approach ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಜಲ್ದಿ ಮುಗಿಯುತ್ತೆ. Whatever you people are doing, ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ 50 hours is also not enough. To finish parliament chapter only will take 10 hours. Correct, no? 10 hours is also not enough. 10 hours is also not enough. Whoever is not, no reaction or they have not even opened Lakshmikant. I can make out. How many hours you take for Lakshmikant? ಹೇಳಿ ಅಕ್ಕ ಮಹಾದೇವಿ. How many hours you take? No, you not studied. ಹೇಳಪ್ಪ ಅಣ್ಣ, ವಿಷ್ಣು ಅಣ್ಣ. ಓದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನ. Wow. If you are telling this, then what do I expect from C1, C2, C3, C4? What do I expect from them? Anything else online? Out of 15 minutes, 10 minutes it has come down now. Yeah, so anything else? We also discuss about your 75-day strategy. We discuss about strategy book, how to make tables, how do you read in a systematic way. Then we have discussed about your paper solving, what are the different types of reading, how much time it has to be given. Then I told you about what type of questions will be there every year. Then I told you about what is the ideal number of questions you have to attempt. More than 85. After that you decide your number, right? One point bandaga, when you know the tricks, when you know the patterns, when you have the knowledge, what happens now, and in your mocks also, consistently you are scoring above 125, 130. What happens is there, you will convince yourself to attend all the 100 questions. You will be very overconfident about it. Because mocks you have got every time, 125 above, 130 above, right? You are so much confident, you know how things are working. So it happened during my third attempt. मैंने बोला था 95 करने के लिए, but look at, अरे ये question भी, अरे ये logic है इसमें, trick है इसमें. Attempt out, what is that? Nothing's happened. I attempted all the 100 questions in my third attempt. That's why I missed the cutoff by 0.8 marks. Even if one question is not attempting, negative al bacha hua. So sometimes it might backfire. Don't do every time, right? So what else we discussed? What is this? Yeah, I told you about in a strategy book how to plan a day. I told you about year-wise GS and CSAT, how to solve, like what is the order. So anyone has messaged online? Hi. How to collect particular subject questions? What do you mean by that? How to collect particular subject questions? ಏನಂದ್ರೆ?
Concept-based question.
What? Can you repeat? Can you repeat who is that? Pushpa. Mr. or Miss Pushpa, repeat that question. It's not clear. How to collect particular subject questions andre ಏನು ಅರ್ಥ?
Subject wise sectional question. Like separate polity, range questions, separate questions.
Maybe.
Sir, ಅದು book work ಇರುತ್ತೆ sir, PYQ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ sectional wise divide ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, quality questions, science ಆ ತರ collect ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
So section wise, you have your test, no? Only polity test, only history test. So you get it in the market. उसमें क्या है question पूछना? You get it in the market. How to collect means go to the bookstore, get and come. और क्या बोलूँ मैं? What else should I tell? That's why I asked to ask Pushpa only to clarify that. ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ maybe ಏನೇನೋ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ರಿ. So according to your question, that is the answer. You people 2026, you have any doubts? Doubts, sir. What, sir? In other parts and all easy things. Sir, for example, particular polity subject questions. Maybe you can speak in your phone or laptop, whatever it is, if it's possible. It's not a clarity वाला question यार. क्या समझ आता है उसे मतलब? Particular polity subject questions अंदर. When to start current affairs? Like this. ಅದು functioning ಇದೆಯಾ? ಅದು functioning ಇರುತ್ತಾ? And I hope whatever I've written, 20 pages I've written, if it is not there, no, I cannot do anything about it. Anyway, we're almost near to the class only. We're just about